will say as well, one of the other things that I've been tracking as they played as 2R1C, as they've played under a variety of names earlier, things like AYM, played under Kick previously as well, and Tropic have notably played with Oirain before, and he's the one member missing from this band getting back together. Thorfinn's been picked up by the duo of Uchako and Hiarka, and the squad has changed since then, but we're going to have to see how Oirain, their former teammate, performs in the battle up against, well, I guess we'll find out who.
Well, they've already taken a significant amount of damage. Good job on the smoking forward, trying to get the thirst that would be able to be a shield swap later, and Onyx Esports stands no chance against the Fire Beavers. The
harassment the Fire Beavers laid down earlier finally comes to a head, pushing Onyx Esports, knowing that now other teams are no longer in the area to third party this. Pioneers do start to creep on up, but will quickly retreat to their previous position. Meanwhile, Riddle, sitting in the low ground, are actually gatekeeping Entropic from accessing this next zone. You've got Riddle on one side and what was FC on the other side.
Ooh, this is going to make for an interesting battle, right? Because we're just locked and loaded with the Nemesis here, and I don't know how many of y'all play a lot of Apex out there. I'm assuming a lot. You guys know what it's like to have a Nemesis locked in on you. It's not fun. You know how quickly
God, Nemesis is so good.
And Tappy is just ready to make it happen.
It feels something like that, because Tappy certainly did find a couple of shield cracks. A nice Bloodhound scan as well helps push Entropic back.
Oh, Bloodhound, huh? Take that a little too long.
Doesn't take him down yet, allowing Tappy to swap back out. Uchako goes down into the trade for Hiarka. Riddle have just Tappy. And the Bloodhound can't clutch it. Entropic claim another life.
Hiarka, you are cracked, my guy. That is exactly how you step up here in the elimination bracket round 2, and that gold shield is going to allow him to quickly get back up into shape. The issue is there's a lot of teams that are going to be making their way from outside of the zone straight into them, and look at this cluster. Xset, 100 Thieves, FaZe in the elimination bracket due to a tiebreaker, and now they have to play another 6-match series.
A tough round for them, and a tough tournament, of course, but that we said for so many of our teams.
Seer Catalyst.
Difficult for FaZe is staying together, and right now
disgusting.
Laying anchor for snipe down should be allowing him to go off. Do snipe down things in this small engagement. Catalyst wall lasting only a moment more. With it
snipe down on Bang.
Down. FaZe have only a few seconds left to push
100 Thieves.
Xset are on the other side.
All right, well let's go ahead. Xset, come on, take those longbow shots. 1, 2, 3. Not necessarily able to connect with the hands of Nocturnal, but that's how we start getting that damage going. We just need a few of them. This is a nice third party, and 100 Thieves are gonna go down. Let's go ahead and jump into a listen in with Xset and see how they carry on.
Ooh, 2 down.
Nice. Nice. Be careful, north. I'm going back. Don't go back to yourself. Don't go back to yourself. Oh, there's a team there. Yeah. Oh, no, just play on. We're good. I need cells. I'm dropping my longbow. Someone needs to watch. Yeah, I'm north. One on the nut and 2 swinging. Okay. Are they swinging to the right?
On the nut.
Really low. Okay. Just blitz up. I'm marking him. Archer. She's gonna have the Q. Okay. 21.
Ooh, nice. Triple take.
Chill for a second. You're good. I have evac tower. Okay. We can walk her edge over here. Okay. I'm popping this ulti. 2 ulti cells here. Yeah, I'm gonna pop 1 too. I'm popping 1. I'm 9% off. I'm getting cat wall. 21. 70. Alright, shot for Prowler Island. It's fine. Yep. I need look for grenades. Yeah, get nades. I have no nades. 6 passes if you need. I'm taking this Nemi. And the Digi. They bangled it? Yeah.
Comms keep cutting in and out.
Cover me. Watch behind you, be careful also.
All right, Xset not actually going to commit to that fight from Element 6. With all the poke damage, it's not going to amount to anything. Meanwhile, Dreamfire going out at the hands of Fire Beavers and a few others. We lost out on FaZe early on. We lost out on Naked. 10 squads remaining, and North Eption, you're gonna go down to the hands of Kinda.
And we knew that North Eption were putting themselves in a difficult spot with the late rotate into this specific zone. It finally pays off, but with Element 6 going down, check out who's the one that took them out. Go Next have been participating in long-range fights around the entirety of this. They were sat, and still are sat, I'll say, in Prowler Island. And Go Next have done a wonderful job in this
Stack ball. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, big damage, big damage.
Who are decimating Black Hand.
Oh no, one more member of Black Hand, and just like that,
oh, he went down.
This lobby too. Realize also eliminated. Sometimes
nice save.
Back into zone, hit the res and carry forward. Optic Gaming also eliminated. We're down to the final 5 as Pioneers fall.
Go Next still in this on the island to the north. They're going to have angles on Exit as soon as this wall drops. We've been counting down for a long time, but finally it falls. And Exit watch
in the open.
Rotate in from the north and towards Fire Beavers, towards an isolated Taskmaster. FC Destroy still holding on, but Fire Beavers absolutely down. Bambino the one to finish them off, and FC Destroy are huddled.
Smart using the car.
You know you've got death coming your way as Go Next jump in from above. The RE45, the hammer points on it, doing work as Bambino claims another life, another squad.
Oh, but it's not gonna be over. They want more action, and all of this is going down. 4 squads remaining. We have 2 different fights. Xset and J-Lings on the right, Go Next and FC Destroy on the left. Because the issue is, it's so open in the water. And my question is someone gonna make a move to try and get those pills for cover?
They certainly should.
Got a solo.
You know that that's the best spot. Teams that
have
have that idea, but Exit are watching over it. But it's Go Next that pull the trigger first. That's happened so often during the course of this match, but they're
playoffs.
And with a horizon low, they're going to have to wait to group up. It's one member of Go Next on the island, 1 foot in the mud, and Exit hold on to the high ground for as long as possible. They are playing to gather as much KP as they can.
FC Destroy, Nocturnal's gonna be the last one standing to take that out there. So now we have to focus on the 3 squads remaining. Exit, you can see 1 player is trying to step foot on the island as well. That's gonna be Noct, the IG himself. Good catwall, so now they can focus forward.
Now it's a tough spot for Nocturnal to be in. So often, the IGL's job is to relay information to the rest of the squad. He doesn't have any. He's holding down. He's playing anchor on the low ground and is relying on Sykes and Fun to manage J-Lings, who are on the further low ground just to the south of them. J-Lings, who have once again, by the way, perfectly predicted the zone, now have the unenviable task of having to push forward and contest for a 2nd place.
Hey, we had asked if they could do it, and hey, the kills will come. Right now, they're sitting on 0 eliminations, placement points only, but Xset, they've got a multitude of kills, and that's kind of how you need to do it. 8 eliminations. If they can take the win,
3v3v3. First one to push loses.
The game they need.
We're going to be running low on munitions for a lot of squads. There's not a whole lot left in
JO.
45 seconds until this closes, and J-Lings even are conserving meds as we speak. Something is going to break for these squads. Xset are the only ones still actively poking. For the moment, Go Next and J-Lings, they are waiting for the game to force them out into the open.
I love that he's hoarding his arc stars for that end game as well, right? Doesn't have a whole lot of light ammo to boot, but being able to throw 2 arc stars, stun up your enemies, and really close the gap.
Ooh, bang ult coming in.
Got NA team on the left,
nice bang ult.
On the right.
That should, yeah, all
almost
to the zone.
This elimination bracket, and 2 of them have made it to the top 3.
An important stall tactic for these squads. We're going to try and pull a Fnatic now. J-Lings take to the sky. Everybody shooting at them. We'll see if this ends up being like Fnatic's play from earlier when they dropped down, but instead they're going to make it up to the apex of the jump. Xset now fighting just up against Go Next is off in the distance. J-Lings are
that was your time to push.
Go Next know they have to fight Xset. They're sandwiched now, and Xset have just as clear of an idea. Trying to push Go Next.
God, he's doing some damage.
Low, and 1 falls. Go Next as a duo are still sandwiched, and they will go down soon.
Good seer exhibit there, and now they just need to keep pushing forward, keep taking space. JMW is also going to get a piece of
watching
Next. 2 squads remaining.
Pro League
J-Lings
Apex
versus Xset. Who will come on top? They made the push first. Nocturnal's gonna go down. Fun.
I had a tuna
Incredibly
fish
low here,
sandwich.
but Sykes should be able to suppress the fights here while they are waiting. But J-Lings still
I'm good right now.
Members standing.
Look at JMW, the world champion himself. He manages to clutch it up, defend his team, and J-Links take another win.
Is that 3 back-to-back technically from the last 3 games that J-Links has played?
I suppose it is.
I mean, that's pretty effective. What is going on over at J-Links camp?
I don't even know who won.
Their analyst over there could not
Yes, those
be
guys.
more proud of those boys. JMW, he's inching ever so closely to that championship Sunday because he already knows what it's like to hoist a trophy.
He broke his headphones?
And it comes down to this immaculate game plan out of J-Links. The spot that they have Tiff, if they take that spot 2 rings previous, it's the worst spot in the entire game. Timing is everything for J-Links, and they were contesting up against FC Destroy, who had a very similar idea, rotating early into the zone. Managing to pull it off, the passive play from this end zone was perfectly calculated. And we again see a Valkyrie ult change the game in the late game. Not what Valkyrie was known for when she was introduced into the meta, but now what she's being ripped back into playoffs for.
And it was really perfect timing, right? They were behind the rock, they have a Jenny, they're safe, they're not going to be poked out of it, it's not going to get canceled, and they're going to get knocked down to 75% and forced to walk in, because we have seen that happen time and time again. But what's different about this team right now, where was this early on in the playoffs?
Yeah, it's been a tough one for them, and J-Links learning other.
Boy, they waited till the last second.
Lots of zones are pulling in this playoffs. They do change from time to time. Have had a difficult moment, as so many squads, but this Valkyrie ult, as we mentioned, a game changer for them, allowing a relatively safe rotation to ultimately be the ones to put go next in a no-win scenario. There's so much cover around this tree on a very slow ring that J-Lings are able to, in coordination almost with Xset, just eliminate any safe positions for go next.
You know, as we watch the final circle, it's something to note here. Yeah, they did take a good chunk of damage on that Valkyrie, but it's so different taking it here in endgame, because if you do it early game, people probably have a lot of snipers, a lot of charge rifles, and that was the biggest issue when in a Valkyrie. But as JMW,
God, Prowler goes hard.
All that damage, 1,300 damage though for one elimination. That just goes to show you how much they were poking and prodding throughout the whole thing.
And I want to give credit to Noise this year, an incredible IGL for J-Lings, but what's really of note to me in this final circle is that he commits with the rest of the squad, half HP, just to get those extra kills, just to put them above Xset, and it nets them a 17-point finish. But Xset, kill participation meaning a lot for them, manages to catch and even overtake them even after catching second place.
Look, they did exactly what they needed to do there. Go next with 16. Mia, though, in the top 3, they're doing really well. FC Destroy, they had a really great position early on, and a quick rotation at that, able to nag 8 points, but Fire Beavers hitting double digits in 5th. They were looking so good, and 3 of those points came from Onyx.
A big game for them, and the Pioneers as well land themselves in the top 10 after only our first game. We saw the good vibes early, and even before that, we've got the privilege of looking at the in-game chat as our players prepare from game to game. Xset, we're taking a while, calming themselves down, breathing. 1 breath in, 1 breath out. That was all Fun was typing for quite a long time. It's clearly worked out, because even in their comms, they managed to stay quite reserved.
In Tropic, though, 6 eliminations, although they're on the bottom half of this. That is Ascend contest. I mean, hey, I don't want to say anything, but Ascend's got to come back ready.
100 Thieves, FaZe. Not doing too good.
8 eliminations, so still very impressive.
We mentioned it, North Eption's tactic not quite working out in the same way that they would have imagined, but the nice thing is, if you are a North Eption fan watching from home, or even here in the arena, that the zones
that guy wearing eyeliner?
Storm Point more often than not should favor North Eption's style of play. It's what's gotten them this far.
Speaking of, I haven't seen a lightning rod so far, and I think that would be really interesting, but we're going to cut to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have match number 2.
Let's go!
Hey, appreciate the like.
WD Black, the official storage partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
All right, Copper Box Arena, we are here in London. It's the Split 2 playoffs. We've already seen match number 1 go to J-Lings, but who can step it up here for match number 2? I'm gonna need you guys to make some noise.
J-Lings fans, after going off last match, we've still got Element 6 up here as well. It's interesting to note, actually, with Element 6 and their specific pre-game ritual, we got the chance to pan the cameras around a little bit. Normally, I don't read too much into it, but it was interesting to see both Ascend and Element 6 grouping up as a team, actually making physical contact in a circle. It's one of those exercises that you do when you're really trying to all get on the same page, and it's fascinating that it goes with 2 of the strongest, biggest personalities in Apex Legends IGL history.
Okay, Swinny, the legendary
We're dropping in.
IGL Slayers and Kinda. Let me just tell you, ever since they picked up Kinda, that squad has looked simply different. But I feel as if this LAN, learning the patterns of everyone on this global stage has been a little bit tougher. So let's go ahead, share some vibes their way, and see if they can lock it in, because it's match number 2.
We've been so tied up in effect that we haven't really truly discussed that it's Kinda's first performance. And
yeah.
He's been doing really well, having multiple highlight moments on stream. However,
Ooh,
we're
contested.
right back where we started last match with Entropic versus Ascend. This time, Ascend once more split up, but importantly,
Flatline ulti.
Entropic's previous rotate.
All right, but they've already picked up a flatline and an alternator. This is gonna look way different.
Ooh, what? Flatline alternator, I'm ready to fight. The thing is, Entropic, they are too. They're flatline, in fact. Uchako's really hitting true. You've got a few more bins behind you if Entropic want to back off, but it would require giving up the high ground, so they have to decide, do they want more ammo, do they want more supplies, or do they want to end Ascent?
Look, I like what Uchako's doing, smoking and moving forward, upgrading that shield, able to find a blue, but something that's different about how they had previously played it is Ascend is actually staying together.
Yes, after the initial split, they've grouped up on the building that actually previously claimed their lives, and in my mind, this is a much better look for both teams. Ascend have managed to back off. We're effectively splitting the POI, but we're continuing to pick up ARs, SMGs, suggesting to me that we're still looking for a contest at least over the next couple of seconds while both teams decide what they want to do. Entropic largely have started moving away, and it seems like this is the POI split, not of their dreams, but at least not of Ascend's nightmares.
Yeah, but I was talking to Sabs back in the green room, and we were talking about the potential things and ways this contest could go. She's like, it could go either split 50-50. You could force one that would essentially just grab a bunch of really good loot and drop down off the high ground, loot through the buildings, and begin rotating in. And it's not necessarily a bad call because...
See, Northern Inception.
It's not quite there there, but we're starting to move a little bit further into that direction. And if you're 100 Thieves and
Disengaging.
you land Command Center, this is where you want it to be.
And if you're a
Go next.
Northampton fan,
Flying towards
I would say
phase.
very much the same thing. Being able to now abuse the high ground advantage that they should have coming into the zone late should be a lot better. They're going to start at the IMC Armory, but we'll check in with them over the next couple of minutes, probably around 10 minutes realistically, because that's how long Northampton takes to rotate in. J-Lings, however,
All teams are still up. Prisoners and
only balloon on Storm Point and make their
How do you even
way
say that?
over towards Stormcatcher. They're going to be playing over by the low ground.
Rotating
We're
early.
expecting to be a Stormcatcher
Golly.
say command center zone.
Ooh, and J-Lings who lands high.
Look at him rotating in for zone already. Go next, Holden.
Then 100 Thieves, then Complexity.
Onyx
and
Esports
Collective.
out.
And if they can keep up these great zone calls, they've already positioned themselves here, and they're just south of Stormcatcher. And this is a really solid position. And with the Watson to be able to fence off these corridors, they can even scout with Noise's crypto drone.
You really got to trust J-Lings in the game plan that they've put together. Now, FaZe in a not so distant
FaZe snipe down.
position. There's an interesting thing that develops with zones like this, where it can go over to the command center side. Over
We got 100 Thieves and
or it can go to
KCP.
100 Thieves are, and
They're rolling out.
we've seen zones end
Plus
in
disengaging.
this very tournament, notably with Dark Zero having picked up a win. Pioneers are going to be playing for that gamble of the low ground as well, and off down in Lagoon just below them, we've got Go Next holding that down. Pioneers, however, will find themselves in an engagement. They've got high ground, but a Horizon Gravity Lift undoes all that very quickly.
Zane, I'm so impressed with him. Gets the focus of attention, gets stunned up a little bit, still able
Oh,
to
don't lose that.
He's gonna go down. It doesn't matter because Naked's Leica is just that much more crazy. Pioneers, they're going to take an early exit here in the lobby. A beautiful reset here, and they're going to have all of the loot from Pioneers.
The vibes from KCP a little bit too high there. It's a disrespectful
Naked.
rotate to take when you know that other teams should be rotating, and 100 Thieves will have heard all that go down and went, good luck to you, because we managed to get here first. Naked, very happy with what they've picked up so far. Can still play this area of the map for a little bit more of a slow entrance.
EVA 8
It
Nemesis.
doesn't seem like they're too interested in playing zone at the moment, since they would have to pass
30-30 Prowler. Ooh, he's hurting on heavy.
back soon with the excels that they're popping, and once the Dark Veil is back up, then they'll be able to make their moves into South Stormcatcher.
Ooh, that's exactly what you need. I had spoken to Naked, the team. They were talking about what their goal was for the LAN here, and it was all about consistent points. And so far, they have done just enough to keep them moving forward inch by inch closer to Championship Sunday.
It's worked really well, and Naked start moving up the hill, seeing if they can find a different angle in. This is not going to be too much better for them in terms of actually playing zone, but it will provide an active position from which to gatekeep squads coming from the east, and there are plenty. In fact, it's going to be Riddle and Ascend that are approaching from the east in due time, as Ascend are starting up an armory, and Riddle, they've certainly spotted it out. I suspect this is going to be an engagement pretty darn soon, as armory should be opening at the conclusion of the next few seconds.
You know, sometimes there's nothing more fun than just perching up on top of an IMC armory, except when Kashera has a Sheila in his hand just on the inside waiting for it to open. Yukio's like, you know, I've got my Bangalore ult, I've got a couple arc stars, but that Sheila, it stings.
Bloodhound scan for information on demand. We've got a Rise getting
Oh my god.
Fortunately, Kashera just gets deleted. It's like he evaporates leaving the IMC armory, and Riddle, completely unfazed by the team that emerged in front of them, are going to let Lufka go, but they got what they came for.
Mia K, what are you doing? That looked so like it would have went so much different from Ascend's POV, but they were prepped and ready with the perfect angles. It's like they had anticipated exactly where Ascend would be standing.
It was funny watching that happen as well, because over in EMEA, they were the challenger circuit that originally innovated on Horizon Rampart before Horizon got, I'll say, touched up to make her a little bit less accurate and her allies a little bit less accurate in the air. That was the terror of the Tier 2 scene in EMEA, and Ascend tried to use it there to not so great
huge.
effect, but there's always next time. Fortunately,
He going to craft
their
banners.
competition includes Alova, so it's not all over for them.
Not all over, and Lufka is going to go on the revenge tour, but it's interesting enough, Riddle is still here at the IMC Armory, and if Lufka does decide to maybe come back in that way, they'll still be nearby, and even Optic Gaming is still in zone, kind of nearing what we would typically see from Fire Beavers in North Eption.
And North Eption, classic rotation in, stalling things out for as long as possible. Important to note, Taida swapping over to the Horizon for their Stormpoint games, for their elimination bracket games. This is not the Newcastle that we've seen previously take teams by storm. I did want to make sure that we got a look at Entropic as well, because we're keeping track of both sides of this checkpoint contest. Entropic, they're also making a rotate in, a slow
Optic got the res.
but one that mirrors their EMEA regular season as they move through Cascade Falls, where they would have had a beacon scan available to them.
Fire Beaver still in zone.
Since they're contesting and have chosen to run Bangalore Horizon instead, they don't have that option.
Yeah, this is going to be really tough. We get another look at where that zone is pulling, and J-Lings is looking pretty accurate once again. FaZe there to join him, as well as 100 Thieves and Xset. Blackhand seems pretty accurate on the zone calls, but it's being able to defend your position in the zone, because you talked about it earlier in map number 1. Just because this is a good spot doesn't mean it's a great spot now. It will not simply be playable, and that's going to be one of those tough areas to get into.
I have to agree with you, and I like that you bring it up. It's nice to hear my own words echoed back at me and go, oh yeah, I did say that. It's a good thing that I said that.
Ooh, Snipe Down's having a rat.
It's just nice to, you know, get a little bit of validation now and then. 100 Thieves, they early on managed to secure a spot that is going to age well. It's going to age even better when we get the chance to check in on where the ring is going. But first, we got to see how Optic Gaming survived this engagement.
I can't believe we're saying names like Optic Gaming here.
I know, it is wild that Optic have found themselves in the elimination bracket. We said it so often. I remember saying it with Furious so many times today, but at the end of the day, you got to be able to turn it on when it counts the most, and this is Optic Gaming's most important match of the season. They have to make it through into the finals because they've got legacy.
That was a beautiful Skynade.
Skynades are
Here they come.
knocked. Misses almost all of his shields in this engagement, but their access to the high ground, their priority on it, keeps them safe for now.
Well, they may be safe for now, but you know they're not going to want to necessarily let this go. They're just outside the zone, and with 30 seconds on the clock, let's jump in with a listen in and see how they approach this.
Good hold. Jumping off. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Great.
Hemlock.
Yeah.
You gonna grab it?
I'm gonna grab it, yeah. I'm gonna drop my scout. Bunch of good attachments.
Could be teams like holding.
I got a digi too. Fucking juiced. Yeah,
hearing shots. You guys are hearing that.
Close range.
It's definitely going to be a team in here.
All right, well, Optic, they're going to disengage from that and work towards their rotation through Command Center. We do know there is a team that is trying to hold this area, and that is going to be Element 6.
That they will. Optic slow rotates for now. We heard them. Silence is golden, making their way through. You know that all is well, but I'm glad that we get the chance to bring up the map and Northeption's position in it, because their approach, taking the high ground through.
Oh, FaZe full team still in it.
Has worked out for them. High ground is theirs, but taking a look at the map, they've got that much further to come, and now a high variation lobby to contend with. Most teams would have been approaching from the south if this pulled a little further up, but now with so many squads crowded into Stormcatcher, they're going to have to fight.
It's going to be a shitty zone.
They are going to have a few things that they can play off of. There's some supply bins ahead of them, a couple trucks, a fence lines, but you saw the charge rifle beams coming in towards them. It's going to be rather difficult for them, because if anyone's on that super high ground Stormcatcher, which there most definitely is, you will be in that line of sight as you work towards that. But Onyx Esports have moved to the underside of this, focus of attention coming out, a little bit of an information gathering, not necessarily something utilized to push right now.
Much like the Riddle Optic engage as well, it's not to the benefit of either squad to take this engage if there's not a knock. It is Onyx that's in more danger, as there are a lot more angles that they can be peeked at from, but a quick scan does reveal one slightly mispositioned member of Go Next, the squad that was playing out of the low ground originally, and that now will have to move along alongside Onyx. This is where things can get tricky when two squads have to move from the same place at the same time. We see it a lot in end games, we saw it over in Skyhook, and now we're gonna get a taste of it down here in Lagoon.
Doctors immediately punished, trying to find an angle and loses 75 HP, forced to go ahead and hit the Phoenix kit. Has plenty of time, but they will have to move in just a minute 28 seconds. And if you think about it this way, we're about to have round 3 closing. We have 19 squads remaining. We will most definitely go from 19 to less than 10 in a blink of an eye.
Go Next are actually getting really antsy. You can tell in Slab's positioning that they want to take this fight, but simply don't have a way to do it. Time is of the essence, especially as more squads can start rotating through the south. And Go Next's attention has already been drawn. Riddle have started making their move, and they know, just watching from a distance, that there are two squads here. They may very well wait until the fight kicks off, but even behind them, Riddle have spotted yet more teams rotating. Fire Beavers go up against Entropic. There are trades. Riddle can third party tip. Let's find out how it goes.
Boy Rain throwing down Hyarka fold, and now Riddle, they want to sandwich in on Entropic, and they were performing so incredibly well. They're going to go ahead and drop a Moby down, looking for a little bit of cover and maybe a slight distraction, because Taskmaster has not been fooled yet. They're just jumping around looking for cover, but look at Yushako. He's pushing up straight. He's trying to finish Fire Beaver so he can focus on Riddle.
He'd really like to stay alive, push back this other squad, but with Entropic going down and Uchako being the last to fall, they're going to get set back once more. Their storm point not going as they'd imagined. Now Riddle's being pushed from the high ground, however. Fire Beavers look large and in charge, but Impulse is down, Taskmaster is out, and Riddle still have 2, and Fire Beavers, they've got nothing.
Oh my gosh, Riddle Order, your first time on LAN as this trio here. Of course they have previous experience, but they are looking so good. It's crazy that we're seeing here in the elimination round, but this is what is getting crazy. These players are putting their hearts on their line, and speaking of hearts on line, Onyx just on the low ground of this situation. Go Next has been itching to get in on this engagement. Good Dark Veil, they've already got a crack on the catalyst, and that, a knock on Fussy.
And through the creeping barrage as well, it should be the nail in the coffin for Onyx. But Go Next find themselves with a third party, Riddle, who we knew were going to make this southern rotation, now have managed to find yet another knock. And Onyx and Go Next run for the hills in separate directions, leaving Doctors for dead. It'll be a creeping barrage that picks up another full thirst this time around, and Riddle get to keep on moving forward. One of our only squads to be running Bloodhound. They are using it so pristinely, and now giving Tappy the chance to flank around. Onyx will end up going down.
6 eliminations make that 7 with 16 squads remaining. I cannot believe this. Let's jump in with a listen in to Riddle Order.
Okay.
あ、いいよ。うん。
もう一回やった。
いける？いくよ、せーの。逃げてる。
どこ？下か。
レイであるからいける。いやでも右の岩にいる、右の岩にいる。ゆっくりゆっくり。グレーあるならグレー入れて。
もうないもうない。
消えた？
いるよいるよ絶対いる。ほらどうしたどうした左。
いや終わり。
左見る。右ファイトかも右ファイト取れたらでかいよこれ。右回り。
いいよ。
出てこい。
後ろ来てるこっち来てる行くよそれ行き過ぎんな。2枚来てるよ。
一緒されね。まあ割と余裕かこいつら。あシャウト入ったこいつら。一回左見よ。左押さえたらやばいこれ。一回負け。
これ赤も入ってるよ行くよ。
オッケー。
左側から動こう。普通に。
俺左見る。うんオッケー。
ちょっと待って。プッシュ。
これ打った方がいいこれ打った方がいい。
They're fighting straight forward. They keep on pushing. They want to see who is ahead of them. They know Dreamfire is over there, and they know that they're also getting pressured from the side. Let's go ahead and hear from Dreamfire for their perspective.
我当得快了，再吃一口，我他妈吃3本了，第3本了，受不了，丢给他，给他推了，他妈逼超了妈的，等我大，给他抛了吧，90，大90，现在丢吗？丢，往前走，跟你爆了，走，前面150，打，前面不要倒，来，我就打，不要倒，
在哪？
大家往前走，往左，往右，标定，他被夹了，卡特利斯有大吗？有大，叫谁？ OK， 待会让哥出来，我们前面这里是圈，我不要有人， 打，打肉，很残。一滴，我先往前走，不要走，给他。
To the right. To the right.
白人补了，
Nice wall.
我要贴包，右边有 Q 了。
Focus right.
拿分。
No shield. Dead.
可以吗？可以，可以打呀，没电，我没 Q。
Phase. Snipe down.
没得，打药。对，有对，小人变身，我吃书，靠着。
Dreamfire taking down North Epshik, carrying forward because there's so many teams still outside the zone on the southern side. So many things are going down. We have a Sen that finally, unfortunate, dipped out from the lobby. Element 6 went down early on, no eliminations to their name. You can see the teams remaining on the right-hand side of your screen. Exet in that first place position.
And Dreamfire take out yet another squad. Terrors of the low ground. They're still placed right next to Riddle Order. These two teams mirroring each other, sandwiching every other squad on the way up, and the ring will continue to pull us further north, where Naked and FaZe lie in wait. And as we called out, as J-Lings have predicted, this zone yet again.
This just goes to show the importance of a surrounding team around you and how great Noises is at recognizing immediately where he needs to play. He goes to the corridors just south of...
He's smart, taking up space.
Drops down to play this area. It can be a tough area to hold, but you have the Watts and you can build the fence around. And as FaZe is utilizing this as well, but checking in with Optic, you know, the piercing spikes, the reinforced door, they were fenced in by a Watson on the outside though.
This is a survivable position for Optic, not necessarily in the long run though. It will just be for the next zone close, as some teams
Kraber on the field.
Blackhand, like Exet, are going to have to drop down. It's actually Blackhand looking at Exet on the low ground and keeping their eyes on Optic at the same time. Optic do not want to push this any more than Blackhand do, but both teams, all three teams in fact, will have to move down to the south.
Golly, it's pure chaos. 100 Thief, uncontested.
Goes up, Dreamfire are pushing FaZe.
Yeah, but so is Naked. Naked is moving in, but Dreamfire, they are going to be able to sandwich them perfectly. 3MC throwing it all down. Sniping is going to get a drop onto Roy. 3M's fall, and Peta, the last standing here for Dreamfire.
Riddle are starting to come up behind them. They were sitting on knockdown shields with Yukio and
He's got railed.
just across the rock. Catalyst wall about to fall. Dreamfire are on their last legs. They fall now.
Damn.
7 squads left, and Riddle push up continuing in their stead. FaZe are on the ropes with Digis through the smoke. Riddle Order are in charge of this engagement. Bloodhound still in their hands, but on the other
Oh,
side,
snipe down was a
teams are coming up
bullet.
on Riddle. Mia K spots them out. The Catalyst wall drops, and it's Riddle's time to play two sides of the fight.
I know we were talking about effect early on with Alliance being the Grim Reaper, but I'm starting to think that Mia K is taking that place. This trio of Riddle Order is so synergetic, and Yukio is dealing significant damage. Has the Prowler fully kitted out, but we have to keep an eye on the amount of ammo, but it doesn't matter because the Prowler will drop you in less than 4 bursts.
100 Thieves putting up a great defense. Skirwy able to keep the squad alive for now. Back slot drops, however, and it's just up to Skirwy, just up to the horizon. Shooting through knockdown shields. It's a close range fight like no other with only 7 teams left. We got time for this fight to go.
Oh!
Finishes him off, and Riddle stay alive.
Riddle Order, you are insane. Exet is down, 100 Thieves is down, 5 squads remaining, and Blackhead has finally left Stormcatcher and are making their way through the corridors, trying to take on J-Lings?
And they literally just walk up to J-Lings and take 2 of them out. We've still got, I believe, 1 member of J-Lings left, but that's down on the low ground, and that
Noises.
not even for long. There we go. J-Lings are out. 4 squads are left. Blackhead hold the high ground. Riddle Order own the low
FaZe
ground.
is still in it.
1 singular member of Naked. Say hello to Pinky, and all of FaZe still stand.
Oh, but Yukio,
Oh, that nade.
He's looking for Pinky, and you can see Mia K is also trying to wrap around Blackhand, though, as a full 3 stack, but just before Naked has been eliminated. But Boogie here going straight on in, looking to get some opening damage, but the Dark Veil is coming out.
Riddle Order have already suffered losses. Blackhand's time is to third party as the fight finishes. No
that gun out.
Dropped yet, but Blackhand take on FaZe nonetheless. Eliminating Snipe down, taking him out of the fight.
Oh.
These are gonna go out first, leaving just one member of Riddle left standing, just enough to clinch second place as
Woo!
take the win.
Ah, Lee.
Celebration. We have been hyping up Blackhand for so long. Think about that. Easy flash, strafing flame. You guys are so wild over there.
It is amazing to watch Blackhand perform at this level when just, I'm going to say 12 games ago, we were looking at them going, it's strafing flame, it's easy flash, or it's nothing. They are putting on the performance of their lives, and all credit where it's due to Riddle as well, who owned that low ground and made some amazing macro movements in order to take out a lot of squads, get themselves a lot of KP, and in all likelihood, actually managed to beat out Blackhand in some ways.
It's really impressive. And Yugi on the Watson, you know, they jump in and try to go for that position that J-Lings has. And even though J-Lings also has the Watson and has the fenced up corridor with the Jenny up, oh, come on, get the hype up for Riddle. Yeah, you should see just how many eliminations they had. They were on a path of destruction. There's the signs. We love to see it.
I'm going into the crowd tomorrow, and I'm cheering for Riddle.
Where can we get a sign?
Yeah,
please, come on,
that's
sign
what
us
I'm doing in my off time. They had me from the moment we hit the dance moves in the first game, and they've continued to impress us since then. Incredible games for them after the course of just these 2 maps on Stormpoint. We are going to be moving into our third, however. Before we do, let's take a look at how that went down, because Blackhand pulled an illegal maneuver here.
They instantly throwed a frag, and it got sucked up by the Jenny, and that's fine. Easy flash went down, and Bugi just keeps on peeking. They keep trading out. They're able to play the knockdown, though, which keeps them just out of sight of J-Lings.
And this is a mistake from J-Lings. Allowing Blackhand to walk up to you, taking as little damage as they did, is a critical error, but Blackhand being able to punish it means so much for them, because it's a reset in what is a nigh-on unpushable location, or rather, as it should have been. They have all the time in the world to reset, pick up whatever weapons, ammunition, as we've been noting, that has been going so low that they like, and then push out, finishing, or rather watching one member of Naked be finished, and then walking straight into a third party. This was a beautiful end game for them.
Yeah, you've got Easy Flash smoking forward, covering their rotation around the gravity cannon. You have another Dark Veil from the enemy team actually isolating inside, so no one's gonna push them from that. Yugi just hops up.
Appreciate the follow.
We've got this.
And the whole idea from FaZe out from that.
What's up? How you doing? Not too bad. Watching this Pro League. This good lord. Still going.
Should at the end of the day be securing themselves a spot in
no, not really. I just haven't streamed in a while. It's been a little bit since I streamed. Been working.
And that's importantly now Box that is checked for Blackhand, our third place team coming out of APAC. They've looked so
FaZe got.
And they're lucky to be representing APAC.
Damn. Riddle with 16 kills. Good lord. 12 kills.
16 kills. We saw 15 earlier and we were wowed. Riddle are giving us something new.
Whew.
I mean, that is insane. That is more than 5 squads. Riddle order, you did everything that you needed to do. I know that when we were talking,
that's wild. Still didn't get first and got total more points.
You were like, we had to change so many things up, and hey, obviously it is paying off. Cutting on over to the back half of this with the 11th through 20th places, Entropic Ascent. I think this contest is single-handedly killing them both.
I was going to say,
not really. I pay for Streamlabs OBS Premium, so I get all that already.
struggling. Let's actually take
It's good enough for me.
turning out in the series results, and now it's impacted what is now just 4 games left these folks have to play. Dreamfire currently the cutoff with 10 points, and after a miraculous amount of kills last game, it's managed to keep them just barely ahead of LG6 with 9.
I mean, this is insane. Look how many points are on the back half of the board, because
Elimination.
points have been soaked up in the top 5 that everyone's just kind of scavenging for any kind of elimination that they can get. The fact is, 10 points is what gets you to the top 10. Anyone from the right side on the screen could just have a banger match and immediately throw themselves up the leaderboard, and this is just after 2 matches.
And it is real nice to see teams like Go Next up here as well, because they are sat solidly in the middle of the top 10, and I need to give these folks
Nah, man, I'm not interested.
pointed out, barely made it here. They were the 10th place squad out of EMEA. They
Appreciate it, though.
dominated on the international stage and absolutely defied the expectations of this entire region.
All right, guys, well, that's the series results, but Blaze, I know you've got a special someone down there with RKN to talk to.
I got you, Tiff. I got the mastermind of Sentinels with me in the crowd. It's RKN, our fellow talent desk member right now. Give it up for him, everybody. Now, RKN, as we are in the elimination bracket round 2 finals, we see a lot of teams here. Is there any surprises that you're seeing right now that you don't think should be here?
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm good, bro. I don't need any graphics or anything.
We have Onyx, we have X,
Appreciate it.
we have E6. These are 4 teams that came top 10 at the last event. You wouldn't have expected to find them in this situation.
Yeah, and this is a situation they want to be in, but hey, we'll see if they can turn around and get back there to that match point finals tomorrow. But when it comes down to the 2 games we've already watched, who do you think has an upper hand right here to make it to that match point finals tomorrow?
I mean, these APAC North teams are looking strong.
They are looking
They're
strong.
looking strong.
Do we got the APAC North fans in the building right now? I think we do. Where the Dreamfire fans out there? They down there. Okay, they down there right now. But when it comes down to that, you know, we know that these teams, they need to perform well. Now, who do you want to see pop off here going into this next matchup?
Yeah, I mean, we got a few teams, but I'm really looking at Complexity over there. They've been having a hard run at it. They're looking a lot stronger. I'm really hoping that they pull through. I think Ascend is in a tough situation right now with a double contest on both maps. That's never a situation you want to be in, especially in an elimination bracket. And obviously, man, I just want to see some APAC North representation on the LAN stage.
You know what? I'm with you with that as well, okay? And we're about to find out who is going to go for it. Now, let us know in the chat and let us know in the crowd who you think is going to make it on over towards those match point finals tomorrow. But it's time to throw it on over to Tiff and Dia to get this thing going again.
Thank you so much, Blaze, RKN. Great thoughts out of you. Thank you so much for being here and helping out on the desk all weekend. You've been nothing, I mean, actually impressive. Nothing but impressive. That's what I'm trying to say
nothing
there.
But, nothing but, I understand. It was the awkward pause after nothing.
Story of my life. I'm just trolling him, let me know. I mean, I treat him like a little brother at this point.
I like that we're getting to see some shots of the E6 fans. You guys have been extraordinarily vocal, and we know that E6 appreciate it. We just heard them giving a little cheer themselves because E6 absolutely need to get it together. Swinny knows it. Slayers knows it as well. Unusually nervous on the first day, but he is pulling it together.
He is pulling it together. I told him, we was talking about it on the timeline, he was like, look, you know, it is all or nothing here. But I was like, you have so much support. You have an entire crowd section out there cheering you on, ready to see you make it to the championship Sunday.
And yet you only have one last game of Storm Point on the horizon. After this, it's all World's Edge all the time. Let's jump into a listen-in with Ascent to see how they take this contest.
Right. And I am definitely faster.
Yeah, then we went to the door, right?
Yeah.
All of them. No guns yet.
You're out. I have a balloon and a scout.
I have wingman.
Ooh, don't leave that PK.
Should we stay here and hold? I have wingman only. Bottom cast for the gun, okay?
One of them, they're getting space. Like, post, do you have anything there?
Yeah, I'm going with you guys.
Okay, I'm going back to you, Cash. I'm on roof, Cash, they're nading.
The Cash went back.
Can we
Cash
take
went
the
back.
roof?
They smoke.
How much for your ulti post? Lufka?
See them. You see them?
No.
They smoke. I think they're getting the.
How much for your ulti?
I'm gonna ult. I'm gonna.
I think we just go backwards like that.
All right, and Tropic, as called out by Ascend even, have chosen to take to the low ground once again. They're avoiding the contest that, as you said, was detrimental to both squads, knowing that it is their last chance here on Storm Point. They'll continue to pick up even more loot bins on the way, and honestly, with the small amount of extra knowledge that they have by taking this play into their hands and going, we're out of here already, you can't even see us, they're getting more loot out of Checkpoint than Ascend will. They're going to leave Ascend crippled once more in terms of their economy, and more than likely, Ascend are going to have to move up to the north and take the IMC.
That is going to be really tough, and they were able to take all 3 buildings.
Fish farms in game.
Look at where this zone is pulling. Can we talk about Dreamfire? They are getting a significant pull. They have ample time to set up in fish farms, and you know just how hard it is to get into that zone specifically late game because of all the open space, all of the water, and those buildings will fill up fast. FaZe has already made their way down from Launchpad, and Blackhand Complexity, they are not far behind them.
Yeah, they're the other big team that benefits from this, especially with the split landing. One member of FaZe popping down to steal a Trident from the eastern end of Fish Farms. They've got a quick rotation down and right back into that POI. Blackhand even starting to trickle down in as well. Fish Farms difficult to get into, especially when it pulls out into the open space. We saw Jaylings previously, and Jaylings notably aren't here yet. In fact, they're not even close.
Hear me out though, Dia, and I want to get your thoughts on this because we've seen this similar zone already here at the Split 2 playoffs. However, it encompassed more of the back island on Fish Farms. This has a lot more launch pad in it, and it has the ability to pull straight north into launch pad. That I have seen before.
And for that reason, I really wouldn't mind it if XZ stopped themselves on the pathway now and chose to put up over in, say, by the gravity cannon or the high ground by launch pad. We've seen very similar positions work well for them before over in North Pad in the North American Pro League, and they've got the opportunity to do that, take their time on the rotation in. Kansas City Pioneers, however, in their approach from the south through Gale Station, have already faced a little bit of damage off of the Trident rotation that they chose to take. They're following it up with an evac tower to make this all the safer, as they want to be one of the first 10 teams in the zone.
And here we go, coming down from the skies, looking for free space in this zone. They've pinged that back building, but they're gonna go.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, Serdell, watch your head there, buddy. Just able to duck into a pool and get into cover with nick of time. Realize being the ones that are doing the damage.
That one really hurts, but fortunately, easily recoverable for KCP. They're gonna have the meds, but those meds, importantly, are going to be a determining factor. They're not running something like a crypto to make their peaks. Oh no! Jaylings try and make the early rotation, but they're taken out of the sky by Complexity.
Did I not say early game Valk rotations and a charge rifle do not mix? And now Jaylings, who have had perfect rotations there, but look at that, they're able to get him back.
We res in Oob.
We res in Oob?
I mean, it's cool. I don't know if it's going to save you from Complexity, though, because another knock has come through. Noise is full thirsted now, and Jaylings' early rotation is cut short. RKN in the crowd in the break between games 2 and 3 said he wanted to see Complexity show up. They're starting to do that in the early game, and they are not tunnel visioning either, refocusing up onto the high ground.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Complexity real quick, because I'm sure a lot of you guys out there are familiar with Monsoon. He was on the desk with us at Split 1 playoffs, but Luda and Cody were playing with ESA at that time. This team has grouped up together as Complexity and have been attacking the Split 2 by storm.
And the wonderful thing about it is that all 3 of these players are really, as we so often say, I think in international competition, wonderful mechanical talents. But for Cody and Luda, that's their focus. It's always been about getting them in with Monsoon. FaZe, they're backed up by another strong IGL, leading two big gunners. But realize, unfortunately, having come head-to-head with that, have to disengage through the Trident. I said drive safe earlier, Tiff.
Obviously, man, that is going to be a tough recovery. Not going to be able to get the banners because there's no way you can infiltrate back into this. Your best bet is to play your life. 20 squads remaining here. This is going to be infinitely... But it's the Crypto that gets out. He can fly it right in there. Oh my gosh, open up a door and do a little bit of drone racing.
He can. He theoretically can.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
no.
XC
No.
not gonna let it happen. They're not the ones to pick up the kill. FC Destroy do that, but with another squad eliminated, everyone remaining wins. And XZ, wisely, as we talked about earlier, have stopped their rotation short of entering into Fish Farms, gambling on whether this will pull up towards launch pad or not. They own the high ground, the gravity cannon, an extraordinarily easily defensible area, and with a decent bit of range as well, XZ could have a big game here.
They need this, right? I had the chance to sit down with Nocturnal early on, and let me just tell you, Hodsick, every time you look at Nock, is just back there, hand on the chin, judging and watching and waiting. And Nock in his interview specifically said he credits a lot of his development to Hodsick. And more importantly, it's almost like Hodsick has an inner monologue in Nock's mind, and he's constantly thinking, what about Hodsick? What would he do here? What would he have told us to improve? And, you know, I think Hodsick's going to respect this positioning because I even like this a lot, in case it does pull back to launch.
Yeah, it's worked really well for them so far, and XZ, even though they haven't been picking up the wins so far, have been placing consistently pretty darn high, picking up a few kills here and there, and that's what this lobby is about. In the elimination bracket, it's not about getting first place, it's about getting at least 10th. And XZ have a healthy boundary between them and 10th that as long as they place, I'm going to say even 10th or higher, they can be reasonably comfortable with heading into the second half of our matches. Complexity don't have that.
No.
Complexity's storm point needs to finish off with a bang. They only started off with the one kill, but their move over towards the east pulls to a much less likely style of zone. We have actually seen it end where Complexity are before, but it doesn't happen often.
They are 7 points outside of 10th place as it stands right now. That's how close the points are in the standings from 11th through 20th place. So things are going to get a little bit scary here in 100 Thieves with 8 on the day, 12th place right here. They need to pick up as many eliminations as possible. I know just how sad they were when they did not make the finals and Split 1 playoffs, and they do not want to go through a repeat of that.
It always amazes me, though, checking in with teams like 100 Thieves, and we talked about them earlier, KCP, how IGLs can completely change how it feels to be in this position in a tournament. 100 Thieves may not be feeling all that great right now. Neither must KCP, but their IGLs, importantly, and in very different ways, keep them playing at the top of their game. So often, Nasky does it by keeping the vibes high, and Onmu, increasingly, as the game goes on, is able to pick up more things off of his teammates' plates. He doesn't rely on them to do things themselves. When we get into stressful situations like this, he's more willing to, I hesitate to say micromanage, but make sure that they're aware of the possible challenges the squad is coming up against.
That's so interesting, because every time I hear from him, he tries to say something different as well, because he wants his teammates to be able to think and play for themselves. But in those stressful situations, being able to lock in and have your teammates trust you, it is important enough. We do love a good ooh play. North Action coming down from the skies.
What?
Attention. It's going to connect, and now they are forcing that enemy to run. But Tatsuki is going to keep moving forward, and just like that, Scurry is going to go down.
And in all fairness, Onmu could not have predicted that. Who moves off the top of Launchpad? North Action following that up, reclaim high ground, and are able to put out a decent amount of pressure from above, but they've already claimed one kill. Scurvy gets full thirsted. That's one more point in North Epson's pocket, a point that they desperately need. Storm Point has not gone their way.
It's one more point, and it's a legendary position in this zone until they can see where they need to fight for next. If we could go ahead and keep going forward, they're not going to let them go. I think they're going to keep rotating to go exactly where that is, because they came into match number 3 in 17th place, and they need all of the points that they can get, and Vaxlon and Onmu are completely separated.
I wonder if Onmu's trying to fake them out right now, because North Eption have spotted him out, and it could give an opportunity for a banner recovery, but Satsuki sees that coming from a mile away. He's already committed onto the low ground. He is on the hunt.
All right, Taida, let's see what you can do. You're an impressive Newcastle. I've seen you play Bangalore as well, and now Horizon.
With North Eption having successfully kept Skirwy's banner from being picked up. We'll go to Riddle Order and see how they're approaching this. They actually come up behind Complexity, but interestingly enough, also E6, who have been having one heck of a time recently. They lost Kinda earlier, he got back up, only to go down one more time to Miyake.
This is so tough. I feel like as soon as you close the distance, you're just having a Prowler immediately in your face. Everyone that we tune to, it's less of R9 since they went into that crafting rotation, and now it's Prowler Central.
Complexity should have heard this. It does worry me a little bit that Monsoon isn't turned around 180 degrees watching their backs, but Luda pings it out, and Luda knows what's coming, as does Cody. Charge rifle in hand. Riddle have eyes on them. Even if you can't see the individual characters, Complexity, having heard those shots, will not be doubting that they have to watch their backs, the northern side of the map, as their rotation into the next zone relies on their backs being clear, since they have to focus on taking out Exet, who are on height.
No, Complexity's watching. They are looking through Spider's tunnel here, and they only had one Bangalore smoke. They do have the Rolling Thunder available to try and push in, but they're actually just going to call it off. They're going to continue going further north and look for a different place to go in, and Kashera on the rampart. This is such a different, now that they've actually been able to get out of checkpoint from disengaging with Entropic, and now throwing down a lot of fences here, looting up in the black market. Let's check in with Riddle Orders. They continue on. We last saw here in Launchpad, it was North Eption. Likelihood of them to still be here is pretty valid.
Just avoiding the focus that Complexity already had. North Eption won't have heard the shots by Spider Caves, and it's up to their game sense to pick up on the fact that Riddle Order will be rotating in behind them. Quiet as a mouse until that charge rifle shot comes through, but Satsuki doesn't go down. The 3-2-1 doesn't work as Riddle would have expected, and North Eption already start taking high ground. Taida's able to clear that out. Satsuki still continues in this poke war up against the charge rifle, and it seems to be working out for North Eption. It's a trade of damage. It's a hunt for those Evo shields that we talked about. With only 30 seconds left, though, Riddle want more than that. Riddle need a rotation. They've got Valkyrie ult. They've now got a little bit of cover provided to them by these rocks, and they need just that little ounce more afforded to them by the cover over the rest of Launchpad.
I think they're going to have to hit the Valk ult. I really do. They're going to need to, and North Eption will be on the high ground to be able to look straight towards that. But then you have to think about, where are we going to go into that zone? Because it is fully open. We know Exet was near the grav cannon watching the whole northern side.
Exet very much still are as well. They've turned their full attention down onto the low ground, you have to imagine. And that's to say nothing of teams that will be approaching out of Antenna, as that's still very much a possibility that could throw a wrench in the plans of North Eption, of Riddle Order, as now we start to rotate in. Big chunk goes on to Exet. Taida softening them up for the rest of North Eption, who have extended out ahead. Fire Beavers go down, but North Eption as a duo have to take on a weakened Exet.
Yeah, but utilizing the Rolling Thunder to put a lot of pressure onto Exet, giving them the time to close the distance. And Fun, look at him, he's nearby the grav cannon, and Exet Nocturnal is by himself. Fun going into the Seer exhibit. Knock, just an inch of life, able to grab a knock on Satsuki, a 3v2 situation.
Now everyone's back together though, with Satsuki down. It is another duo going up against the trio of Exet. Great defensive wall by Sykes, by the way, cutting off these sight lines and allowing Exet to play one side of the zone. Complexity coming up on the other side though, and behind them, Riddle Order lie in wait.
They're just tucked in, waiting to see how many more knocks. Now what's typical of this, they will watch the feed and see who is getting knocks and immediately push in when they feel it's advantageous. Hexet though, able to take out North Eption, pick up 3 eliminations, but Complexity, they're moving in on this, but look who's behind them.
100 Thieves take Complexity by surprise, and remember, Riddle's still lying in wait. Exet are still here. Luda's gonna go down, but it's trades on both sides. Exet can commit to this for their own third. I'm gonna call it even a fourth party, as 100 Thieves have just 2 members left. Onmu not gonna be picked back up too soon, but finally behind cover, providing the knockdown shield to allow his teammates to recover. Xset disengaged down onto the low ground, and these NA teams up on the high ground in positions of power. They're in shambles, Tim.
Look, the ability to be able to smoke and bat at the same time just completely changed the trajectory of the reset. Now Riddle Order, currently sitting in second place overall with 29 points, are looking at that rotation. You've got to find an angle, but when you're gonna peek out way too soon, you know all of those buildings are occupied and they're waiting for a chance to snipe you out.
Now, Riddle have high ground. During the next couple of moments, they'll have to plan out their route onto the low ground where a lot of squads already hold. We talked about this earlier, but teams like Dreamfire, who land in fish farms, who got this zone rolled to them, are going to be lying in wait for teams like Riddle to show that moment of weakness, to have not planned out their rotation and start moving down unexpectedly. Miyake should have a Valkyrie. Yukio very close to having Bangalore ult back up as well. 5 seconds left, and it isn't just Riddle, it's 100 Thieves and Xset that have to move into the open.
No more smokes available for Vaxlon, and they are pushing straight towards Xset. Good use of the Dark Veil to block out some line of sights, but it doesn't matter. They're starting to peek through, but no one's really committed to doing enough damage. But Onyx is able to get clear shots onto Xset, and now 100 Thieves have the Dark Veil available to get them into the building.
Another Dark Veil goes down. This time it's Onmu's, serving very different purposes. This one doesn't cut off line of sight onto 100 Thieves, and Onmu goes down. It was meant to be a rotation, but now 100 Thieves have to choose. Do they go forward? Do they use this Dark Veil, or do they leave their teammate behind? Vaxlon commits forward. He goes down. It's just Skirwy left. Two have fallen. 100 Thieves. Can we say it was worth it?
I don't know, but do they have any other choice to try and get in? But Riddle have seemingly done the impossible, have saved themselves just a little bit longer. Optic Gaming has gone out, and Tropic has fallen. We still have 11 squads left in this open fish farms ending. For the teams that have found themselves in a building early on, that is how you strive to succeed here. Your zone prediction is so impeccable. Blackhand, J-Lings, once again have positioned themselves in a prime zone.
And the KCP, the Kansas City Pioneers, who rotated in early, who needed to be one of the first squads in, are playing out of exactly where J-Lings were just a few games ago. The power position that picked J-Lings up a win. A few other teams in this mix with them, however. J-Lings just next door, as you called out, Blackhand. Ascend on the other side will have to move their way into this zone, and they're not even the only ones. KCP, who are they going to be going up against at the end?
This is going to be, it usually is going to be the winners of the fight between FaZe and FC Destroy. That is the closest building to them. Then they'll use whatever utility they have available to try and close that open zone, and Pioneers will essentially pick them apart, and Nasky needs every bit of that. But before we get to that point, Blackhand, currently in first place overall, are taking on Dreamfire.
Height full thirsted by the Thermite. That's one less member that you're going to have to deal with permanently during this zone close. Dreamfire are trying to hold on to the area right underneath Blackhand, and Blackhand are doing their work for them. The protectors of Dreamfire are farming the rest of the lobby.
Naked's rotation just stifled, but let's jump on board with Blackhand in a listen in his seat how they're going to approach this.
Two teams on roof, just chill. Just chill. We're good.
They're dying.
I'm gonna pick up the store.
Let me heal.
12 enemies infected. 12 enemies infected.
Let me heal.
Yeah. I'm queuing. I don't have Q. Chill. I have Q now. Pick.
I have to bet.
Yeah, it missed. Go back. Double that.
All right, checking in with FaZe. They've approached. They are looking to challenge KCP for the God spot, and if Frex can hold on, they'll be able to take it. But no, Kansas City Pioneers hold the God spot.
The early rotation pays off, but Riddle jumps on the run him like a sack of bricks. KCP do not survive this with Yukio on the chase. Pioneers go down. Riddle usurping their position with an excellently placed smoke, and they turn their attention to the rest of the lobby. The win that I'm almost certain is going to be Riddle's.
It needs needs to come from them, and they are just looking down the barrel at the 2 remaining squads that are holding their path towards a match win. Can they make this happen?
And the scary thing is that Riddle don't even need this. Remember, it's about being in top 10, but Riddle show no mercy. The final 3 squads, both having to go up against them, this is gonna come down to a game of Bangalore smokes, of Catalyst walls, and you know just as well as I do that Riddle are gonna be ready with the Digis especially. No ability to throw down a Catalyst wall for a moment. Blackhand don't have one. Riddle, let's hear from them.
俺ウルトないからね。
起こしてね。起こさせた方がいい。右右右。まあダウン出たら行った方がいいかも。
いや待っていい待っていいと思う。うざそう。
左左左左左。
バンガバンガ。
右右右次右。
バンガつかバンガつかって。
次右次右次右次右次右。
一回負けよう負けよう。見え来たら見え来たら。これ終わった終わった終わった終わった。こっちこっち見て見て。右のバンガー。回ってる回ってる回ってる。やったやろうやろうやろう。
チャージライフ。
いやー。
Riddle Order, your winners of match number 3. That KCP phase fight that Riddle Order was able to third party was the pivotal position for this win.
No mercy over the rest of the lobby, and as you say, Tiff, the recognition of the perfect timing have a Riddle Order all over Godspot. Another dance gets served to us here in the arena. Riddle's energy knows no bounds, and I'm so happy that we're seeing this squad really find their form, find their best form yet as they continue on. At this point, absolutely, certainly into tomorrow's finals.
Well, here's the deal, Dia. It's not like you called it or anything. You immediately recognized that that was the same position that J-Lynx had played in a previous game here at the Split 2 playoffs, and they won from it. Riddle Order most likely recognized that, as well as KCP and FaZe. FaZe were able to win that engagement between FC Destroy inside that building, and immediately were like, we have to chow now.
And credit where it's due. One squad left inside the building. Just waited for the rest of the lobby to expire. You farm up a few placement points while you can, because you know that the chances of you actually winning this game are infinitesimally small. Let's take a look at this one more time. By the time that Riddle Order actually have this position, there is a desperate attempt at a Catalyst wall towards them, and it's in this brief second that Riddle actually can be overtaken, but they manage the fight so well with Tappy pushing the rest of Onyx back inside that Riddle are able to continually apply pressure to both sides of the engagement and focus the majority of their attention on the left, where the one aggressive, the one hopeful play was being made.
Well, then we get the listen in, right? And we immediately jump on board with them, and you just hear how calm they are. It's like they knew they were going to win.
I think that at this point, you have to. You've played enough Apex Legends that you know what it looks like to be perhaps not shooting fish in a barrel, but at least in fish farms where evidently the kills really do flow faster than water. With Onyx having gone down, this was a nice, clean finish, and it's the Bloodhound scan that ultimately allows Riddle this quick recon. I only, honestly, Tiff, wish that I could understand the comms, because the calm nature of Riddle Order makes me want to really digest what it is about this squad that is making them function like a well-oiled machine, because it isn't just this game. Their push up onto the high ground last game almost won them the whole dang thing.
Well, here's the deal. We keep harping on the IGLs that are the backbones of these teams to be able to call for the positions that they need. And if you don't know what IGL is out there, it's the in-game leader technically. It's the one that's going to be looking to call for those macro decisions, and clearly they are paying off. But here's the deal. I'm curious to hear what the desk has to say about that glitter. Let's hear from you.
Thank you very much, Tiff. Great job, guys, up there for those casts. 3 matches down, only 3 more left for these teams to solidify their spot in finals. And after that performance, I feel like we can comfortably say Riddle Order is looking pretty good, Gina.
Yeah, absolutely, right up the top there, and they're looking class as well. I mean, sure, that's that map over, right? So now we get to go over to World's Edge and see if they can service their, like old mate was serving us, those dancers.
All right, well, I know we just got to see a little bit of an additional breakdown there on that final circle. We have it from a different POV, so we're gonna walk back through it and talk through and see kind of what happened from Blackhand's perspective, okay? Let's get into this. Vicky, you wanna start this off for us?
Let's do it, because Riddle Order, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it was the dance power-up, but man, they have really been popping off. And looking at the different perspective of Blackhand, healing up right before they had to forcibly exit out of this building alone. There goes the silence. There goes a slight slow to see where this spot was coming in from the bottom. But in terms of positioning, that's what mattered here. These last 3 spots left, Sam, what do you think Blackhand could have done differently? I mean, positioning-wise, you're forced to traverse their open ground.
You know, I think they had a very bad position. They played it so well. They actually made like the entry on the team on the bottom. They went outside. They just started the fight. The other team started focusing the other team so they could just heal, reset everything that they wanted to do, and then they went to the fight, the last team.
Yeah, that timing was actually insane. And this is the open area. You have the smoke, the bank smokes, but what they were able to work with the fence line and then hold that position after being able to take care of KCP meant everything in that final moment.
Yeah, definitely a very strong way to close out that first map. We'll take a look back at our match 3 results, see where everything stands for our teams here. Like we said, Riddle Order, 11 kills for the 23 points. They are comfortable now, Gino, but a couple other of these squads, we got to see it from Blackhand's perspective. They're also looking very good now, too.
Yeah, Blackhand's fine. I think after this point, a couple of good games to start off with here. It was Onyx. I believe they were actually on 0 after 2 games, so 11 points on the board is crucial for this APAC South team, who, you know, obviously many expected to be doing far better than they have been so far. But then Pioneers as well with the 10, a couple other teams just creeping their way up there. Ascend was another one who was on 1 point, I believe, after 2 games. And again, you know, we're just expecting more of these guys.
Yeah, and what's crazy too, Vicky, is that because of these massive point sponges that we're seeing from the likes of Riddle Order, from the likes of Blackhand, when we see the second page here, some of these teams that are just having their first good performance will actually be not terrible of a position heading into the last 3 maps.
Yeah, going into World's Edge now, we were also entering the comfort territory for a lot of these teams, and being able to secure so much KP, looking at our top-heavy teams, you have to wonder what Ascend is feeling, what E6 is feeling going on here. Looking at this second page here, after that second round, everyone's cheering, giving their energies to some of these teams.
All right, now we're also going to take a look at the series result. This is where things are going to start getting very important, though, because we took a look back in the green room at what the cutoff point was to get through after Elimination 2 last time around. It was 31 points. It might be somewhere around there, and if we're looking at that, Riddle Order, Saps, Blackhand, both already very comfortable. J-Link's just barely there on the cusp, and still 3 matches left to go.
Yes, look at J-Links. They literally came from the last group to the elimination round 2. Without, like, they're literally going perfectly up. They're consistently staying in the same place.
Yeah, the momentum for these teams is going to be very important.
They almost didn't make it, right? I mean, it was 4 games in, and it looked like J-Lings were on the precipice of exiting the tournament, and they come with those 2 back-to-back wins, and they have 100% taken that momentum and run into our losers bracket round 2 with that.
Yeah, I think that this is going to get very close. We can see just how few points are separating these teams. 3 games still left for them to battle it out. So someone's going to need to have some sort of a pop-off performance or something that can at least give them a little bit of cushion with so few games left. But we talk about this pretty frequently. I'm excited to talk about this time around. Obviously, there's always an item or something in-game that's very influential in our matches. It's time for WD Black, What's in Your Pack? And this time around, it is the 30-30. Genome, talk to us about this one.
All right, it's the marksman weapon, obviously. You can chuck those 3 or 2x4s on it to try and give you some ranged damage. And damage it has done. It has had over 175,000 damage so far in these playoffs. You've had the Skull Piercer in the crafting rotation. At some point, you can chuck that on for some extra headshot damage. You know, obviously, it's just been so good in the hands of these players so far. You let it charge up a little bit. That's what the bars on the side are. So it does slightly less damage if you're just popping shot after shot. But if you line it up, you get some pretty juicy headshots.
And most of these clips are holding down your line of sight with the 30-30, which does about 36% more damage per bullet, which absolutely makes your eyes water.
Listen, it's a dangerous gun, especially in all of our pros' hands. So that's why it was our WD Black, what's in your pack. All right, now we heard Rain mention this earlier. We're gonna be sending another reminder out right now because this is something that you absolutely do not want to miss, all right? And I am talking about July 17th, Apex Legends Kill Code. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're gonna have to go over to the YouTube channel to find out, all right? Because it is going to be a little bit of lore for all of you lore lovers. Kill Code will follow Lifeline, Maggie, and Loba and their adventures in the Outlands. Every single time we do anything cinematic like this, I love this stuff. It's so cool for the community, Sabs.
Yes, you know, I'm always questioning myself, what exactly gonna be then? What is the teaser about? You know, I'm going into details like in a game. I need to know every single detail, and you know, I never know what I'm gonna expect.
That's why we love it so much. And obviously we're talking about the community, all of the cool things that are coming to it. And it's not just us here in London having a good time. I've got some pretty cool clips to show you guys, okay? Because if I'm not mistaken, we've had a very cool watch party with Cyber Z, and you can see everyone hanging out here in Tokyo watching us live for ALGS. How cool is this, Vicky?
I'm literally just so astonished right now. This is amazing. Look at the fans watching from Tokyo live. Are you kidding me? This is what we love about LAN, though. It's the international fans, the international talent, all coming together. Even if you're not here in person, you're watching from home, or you're watching at a watch party, you love to see the energy that Apex Legends brings when it comes to bringing everybody together.
Obviously, we have some fans that have come in from all around the world here to LAN, but not everyone can make it here in person, but it's nice that they still get to feel that energy with other Apex esports enjoyers in the same space.
That's why we love the community here so much. We've loved the crowd here so much. We heard everybody cheering for Dreamfire before. We've seen so many different flags being flown, hanging out with all of you. And we just want to appreciate you for enjoying everything here with us. But like I've been saying, there are only 3 more matches in our Elimination Bracket 2. Only 3 more opportunities for these teams to get themselves into our match point finals tomorrow. And it is time to figure out who those teams will be. On set, Gaskin, let's close this thing out.
Send it our way. We are ready to close this thing out. We got 3 more games of Apex Legends to get through today before we know what that finals lobby is going to look like. I'm nervous, I'm excited, I'm all sorts of things. My stomach feels a bit off. I'm not sure what's going on, Dan, but I mean, what are 3 games this is going to be?
Yeah, this is going to be now where we separate the men from the boys and where we're going to see really who stands up and shows what they're made of, because it's going to be one of those scenarios where there are some teams who have been struggling a little bit. Maybe they're not so good on Storm Point, but we move over to World's Edge. I know I always say it, but there's also, you've just got to step up when your time is now. Make sure you put everything forward. I've heard a lot about mentals. I've heard a lot about teams struggling a little bit, maybe not playing at their very best. You've got to put all that aside and do what you can.
This is how it stands at the moment as we head into game number 4 of this series. Riddle Order, they're at the top, but keep your eyes on 10th place. If you are below that, you will not be making it through to Championship Sunday. And as we've already discussed, Dan, so many times, that's what it's all about for these players.
So in the winners bracket, 31 points was the cutoff. Previous playoffs, also 31 points has been there or thereabouts. Sometimes it pushes up to about 34, but if we base it off 31, it gives us a rough idea of what we're looking for.
It certainly does indeed. We'll take a look at the map rotation. Of course, J-Lings winning match 1, Blackhand match number 2, Riddle Order with a win in match 3, and now we really do start to ramp it up. It's World's Edge time, everyone. 3 more maps to go before we find out who will be in our grand finals.
And we do have a lot of teams who are better on this map, will feel more comfortable, and would have been delighted to hear that it was maps 4 through 6, so that you can maybe get your dud games out of the way in 1 through 3, and then knuckle down in 4 through 6 and show what you are made of. There are several teams here that I'm sure know full well that this is going to be their opportunity in match 4 to now show us what they're made of.
Well, the 2-point sponges at the top of the leaderboards mean the rest is still all to play for. World's Edge is looking bright, it's looking colourful, and it's looking like it's ready for some action.
100 Thieves currently in 11th, followed by Firebeavers, Onyx Esports, Optic Gaming, and E6. All 5 of those squads will want to try and push themselves into that top 10 before we get into match 6. Because if you find yourself outside of that top 10 in match 6, suddenly you've got to play a little bit differently. But here we go, we're diving on into World's Edge. We're going to follow Ascend. Remember, they've been contested constantly and find themselves in 17th position. They were in the grand finals last time. They were in the final fight last playoffs, but at the moment, their backs are against the wall.
How the story can turn, though, with just a couple of good games. They will have Lava siphoned to themselves.
That's
a lot
great
of people
news.
will say the strongest POI on World's Edge. Ascend have it to themselves. We also have a little bit of ring information to bring you. It looks like we might be heading either north siphon or possibly pulling a little bit towards Fragment.
That is great news for Ascend, though. Entropic have decided to go to Big Mord and maybe contest slightly with Optic Gaming, who down at stacks. And I think that is a sensible decision from Entropic, because maybe they realize if they themselves want to get into the grand final, a contest isn't really helping them either.
So just to point out how tight this is at the moment, Riddle Order and Blackhand, they've done a lot of the heavy lifting, 48 points and 45 respectively. For the entire rest of the lobby, it's less than 30 points that separates 20th place from 3rd. And that's about 10 points a game, Dan. A ridiculous kind of scenario for everyone to find themselves in, knowing one big game, you could be here tomorrow.
Yeah, no one is out of it yet, and I think that's what makes these next 3 games so exciting. And I know I've pointed out a few times, you've got teams at the bottom of the table like Realize, Northeption, Complexity, and Ascend. They are 4 big heavy hitters within their own regions that have done so well throughout the online split, but just haven't been able to get going on Stormpoint. But maybe here on World's Edge, they could just turn their favor their way. You can see we're going all the way east. Geyser is going to be slightly in it. Overlook's going to be a great place to drop, as well as Firebeavers at Fragment, but the no-name location, dead center, is where a lot of teams are going to head that way.
Respawn Village looks like the place to be for now. Possibly a truck ending, possibly pulling a little bit more away from that, but we'll have to see where our teams take that final battle. But you can see a little bit of a scrap going down, and one of the teams who is obviously at the top of the leaderboards at the moment, which is going to be Blackhand. They lose a player here, and it's thanks to FC Destroy.
And Blackhand should comfortably be in the grand final anyway, so it's not too detrimental for them. What's important is that FC Destroy keep on piling on the points and climbing up that leaderboard so that they can consider themselves a team who would be in that grand final.
One team who's going to be very happy with this first zone is going to be J-Lings Esports. Landing over at Overlook, they should have one of the priority positions. They're currently in 3rd place in the standings. 29 points is where they find themselves. This is the game you want. This is the zone you want to solidify your grand final spot.
And you might be wondering, well, why are J-Lings going away? Well, they didn't have ring console. They had a survey beacon, but no ring console. So at the moment, they have no idea where this circle is going to go. So they thought about going down to Geyser because there is a ring console there, but of course they're going to have to take a fight if they want to achieve that. So J-Lings might just have to play blind here. They'll have a general idea from the first circle, but of course it is circle number 2 where teams can really start to predict where it's going to go.
Well, J-Lings kind of going to hedge their bets by the looks of things. That's a really good call from you. As we see Northeption being eliminated, and it's Complexity who come to life here on World's Edge. They have been quiet so far, Dan, and you have to say this is a game that Complexity needs to put points on the board.
And that was 18th versus 19th going up against each other as well, so a huge fight for Complexity to win. Of course, Monsoon struggling with nosebleeds at the moment, so I hope everything is going to be okay, and I'm so glad he is able to power on, and maybe that could be one of the reasons why they've been a bit off here or there, but I still believe that Complexity have what it takes to get through into that grand final. As you say, it just takes that one big game, and they are capable of doing so.
I mean, I think you'd have to physically drag Monsoon away.
You really
He's waited
would.
so long for this opportunity, over a year, I believe it is, since he's played on his own team at LAN. We did see him, of course, at the ALGS Championship, but he was a sub, a super sub. And this opportunity for him is absolutely huge. He's not going to let it go to waste. Pioneers, though, in a great spot here. A quick rotate from them, and Naski. Big opportunity for him to lead the troops up that leaderboard as well.
Another team who missed out on getting to grand finals and didn't really know what to do with themselves. They were a bit dejected after doing so in Split 1, and now they have a real chance of getting there to that grand final here at Split 2 playoffs. And they seem like spirits are high. I mean, spirits are always high with the Kansas City Pioneers, to be completely honest, but it can very quickly get shut down as soon as you're eliminated from a tournament.
Other teams who are making a quick rotate here. Interestingly to see that Firebeavers have actually gone a little bit more zone heavy this time. We have seen them do some pretty wacky things on these kind of zones. In EMEA, counter rotates into zones, trying to catch teams out. My goodness, by the way, Peter, that is a ridiculous shot with the charge rifle, as the truck will be taken control of now by Dreamfire. And this is a potential end zone, but very, very difficult to hold They don't have that rampart. They do, of course, have Catalyst to make it a little bit more difficult to push, but I always fear players and teams who hold this truck early.
Yeah, I think that Catalyst can only help delay the inevitable usually. It's going to be more so, can they escape with the Dark Veil once they realise where the circle's going to be pulling? Sure, if it pulls up towards them, they might be able to reside there for some time, but look, there we go. They want to get out of there. They know it's not going to be the position they can hold for a little longer than they were already. Instead, they want to try and take one of these buildings. They're doing a lot of damage, but they just about slide in.
Should be okay. Too many teams in the vicinity to risk pushing this from anyone else. You can see that Onika there, FaZe there as well, and they will be able to get the red Streamfire, so they're safe. The Dark Veil worked, even though it was a little bit sketchy.
So 4 teams within the respawn village. J-Ling's just a little bit south, who are going to be a bit annoyed, I think, when they realise where the circle's going to go, but that's sometimes how it is when you don't get the ring console. E6, who have quite a bit of support in the crowd as well, still a lot to do in 15th position at the moment, but one of those teams who does always find themselves just in an end game, popping off and putting some montage clips on the board for us every single time we have them play here in London.
One of the biggest momentum teams that we have in the ALGS. Once they get rolling, it's very difficult to stop them, but the team who has not been stopped so far is Riddle Order. First place at the moment, 48 points on the board, by far and away the biggest total we have in this lobby at the moment. One solid game, you would say, one solid enough game from Riddle Order here, and they will be with us tomorrow on Championship Sunday.
Honestly, I'd even say they could probably get 0 points for the next 3, and I think they will be on the grand finals. But 48 points should get them through even at this point. It would be madness if not. Except they're on 27. We were lucky enough just to speak to Nocturnal before he went to his booth. He said, 10 more and I think we'll be feeling pretty comfortable. So in one game, that's definitely achievable if you can get some kills on the board. They were chasing a couple of teams and rotating around. It was E6 they were on the behinds of, but instead they're going to now go north and make their rotation over towards Monument. Now, 100 Thieves are waiting at Monument, so Exet just need to be a little bit careful with the way they move here.
Tough zone here for Exet, dropping all the way over at Trials and, of course, Skyhook. But if anyone can navigate it, we've said it before, Exet are that team, but they are on the precipice at the moment. They've got 27 points. But I mentioned how close the lobby is at the moment, Dan. 27 is by no means a secure place. If you say they're in 4th with 27, well, 10th place has 13, and that's one game, you know, one average game for a team to close that gap. So everybody in this lobby is probably thinking, just don't throw away a game. Just be consistent. Try and find your way to an end zone and at least be involved in the opportunity to pick up a 10-plus point game. Exet are going to use that redeploy to find themselves a little bit closer to epicenter. A couple of shots going to come in, but they will be safe landed.
And it's why we're going to see a lot of games be slow starting, where 19, 18 squads are going to be alive with only a couple of circles remaining, because no one is going to want to take risks at this point. There's only, in my opinion, 2 teams who can really afford to take risks, and that's Riddle Order and Blackhand at the moment. I would say they are guaranteed to be in the grand final. Everyone else, it is not a dead cert. If you were to have a poor performance on World's Edge, you could find yourself falling out of that top 10 and kicking yourself a little bit for not being a little bit more careful in your approach of getting into the zone. Now, we do know that a lot of teams and the meta really follows teams who like to get into the zone early, place up, bunker down, but then it's also about planning what you do for that final circle. We had 11 squads in the final circle in the previous game on Storm Point, so you have to be aware of absolutely everything. You need to be prepared for all sorts of madness that's going to go down, and sometimes the teams that win will be the quicker thinkers right on the spot there and then.
Exet may be thinking about wrapping zone here, because Complexity are ahead of them. Complexity may be backing off of this, just to give you a little idea of what the plan is here from Exet. So a little zone wrap, or certainly playing as close to it as they can to try and approach this zone from the northern side. Probably the safer option, and I think the safer option is going to be discussed and taken the majority of times by teams at the moment.
And there's 3 teams, though, that are moving, and actually I was going to say that one of them is Complexity, as Exet will just get eyes on Complexity there. Riddle Order are also not so far away, and Ascend might hear this commotion. It's important that if you are going to get engaged in these gunfights, you're well aware of the other positions you could be pushed from. You don't want to just get snuck up on and then lose your game just because you wanted to get a little bit of extra damage for those Evo shields. So Exet and Complexity need to be careful, as they both should be able to move together into the zone. It's not like they can't cohabit here.
Interesting to see what's going on here, because Exet are trying to kind of thread the needle between Complexity and Ascend. Element 6 came over from the truck that we were talking about a few moments ago that Dreamfire were in. and had a little look at it, but everyone seems to have decided once again, let's play this one safe as we move our attention over to Frag East, where we have Optic Gaming, who have found their way a little bit closer to zone now. Also finding themselves with a couple of neighbors, but the Kraber coming down. It's probably a little bit out of reach for them at the moment. 405 meters is too much of a risk to really overextend for.
Well, Exet move away from Complexity, but then they will approach Ascend, because as I said, they were in the area, they did hear the gunshots, and they went and had a little sniff. It looks like Ascend don't really want this. E6 also in the same kind of area too. Everyone's kind of posturing up against one another, but no one really wants to take the fight at the moment, and for good reason. There's far too many teams in the lobby. As soon as you do so, the third party is just going to be invited. So everyone just saying, okay, you can reside there, we'll find a new position, and we'll move on for now.
Ascend taking over that height as well on the drill tower to make sure that if Exet do try and push up, they are going to have that vantage point to really call a power position while that 3v3 may take place. E6 keep looking at this, by the way. E6 kind of keep creeping up, and I'll tell you for why. Because the zone is about to do something a little bit funky as Complexity are holding out Riddle Order at the moment as we jump into the map overhead and we see from the third-person perspective exactly what's going down.
Yeah, Riddle Order came in from the zone and they were hoping they'd be able to walk in for free, but Complexity just spot them, and now Riddle Order not only taking so much damage from Complexity, but of course from the zone as well, so have to manage their meds here.
Meds might be a problem for them though. You saw that was one med kit left to be used, as now we get a little bit of Moncam trying to hold out, trying to do it all for Complexity at the moment. Should be a pretty isolated fight, and is an isolated fight here in the kill feed. In the meantime, Fire Beavers and 100 Thieves having an exchange, and it looks like 100 Thieves are struggling.
Yeah, 100 Thieves down to just one, it would seem, as Fire Beavers take that fight in Fragment. FC Destroyer also nearby. 100 Thieves do get eliminated, and here's the fight we were talking about. FC Destroy are arriving late, but has the damage already been done by 100 Thieves as FC Destroy look to try and take this train car?
Trying to finish off this fight, trying to take advantage of the fight that happened just moments ago, but Hammer Drill has gone down, and Fire Beavers, well, they're holding strong here. Orign's going to get the bat off, and he's still got that car available. The smokes from 9 Impulse are huge, just to delay that fight. FC Destroy have to take it slow, have to play for the reset, and that allows Fire Beavers now to escape.
Well, it's so difficult to get a straight 3v3 fight at the moment, though, because there's plenty of teams that are shooting from a distance. Optic were getting involved in that fight, and they made it so awkward for FC Destroy, who eventually were able to back off. Complexity still griefing Riddle Order at the moment, and they were able to get one knock, that's for sure.
But the noise has allowed Exet to move up. While all of this has been going down, Complexity have to be so careful of the third pie, and there it is! All of a sudden, Riddle get that knock. It's a 2v2 right now between Complexity and Riddle Order, but the problem is, who is going to be aware of that third party approaching?
There are so many teams heading north right now. You can see Exet approach, but Fire Beavers are coming, and Blackhand are not far behind. There are everyone saying, maybe we could get KP. Complexity eliminated as well as Riddle Order and Exet. They have one down. They just need to try and get back up here. But look, Fire Beavers and Blackhand, they were on the hunt as well.
Shots coming in now. Orion is down. 9 Impulse having to retreat as well as Taskmaster, who we are watching through his reticle, but he's down as well. And Exet as a 2, putting so much suppressing fire from the height of Epicenter down onto this. They've managed to get Sykes back up as well.
And the zone's coming in too, so you've got to be careful and just try and move away from this one if I were you, Exet, which they do. I think Exet have been blessed by Blackhand, as Fire Beavers will lose one. They can stay alive as a 2, but the fact that Fire Beavers were about to full send onto Exet, it was only the fact that Hand actually got involved that saved Exet there.
Fire Beavers stay alive, but as a 2. To give you an indication of where the zone is pulling, by the way, FC Destroy are bang in the center. If you're wondering where we're going, it is to the train car that Fire Beavers were holding a few moments ago. So Fire Beavers in a pretty good spot in this cafe building to overlook where that zone is going. But I think everyone's going to be caught off guard by that zone pull down. We were saying maybe Fragment East early, then we saw the third zone and we were like, oh, this one's probably going towards No Name, and then straight back towards that truck. And Jailings are making a play for it.
Yeah, we have 5 teams down in the respawn village. Jailings want to move early. They get on top of the building. They've got to be careful of a couple of grenades. They're being griefed by several squads, and Nag's just got to survive now because he's lost his teammates. And Jailings, even though they've got a good points total, they still need a few more if they want to try and get themselves into that grand final.
Certainly do indeed. Optic, Blackhand, Jailings, Fire Beavers, all inside of Frag East at the moment. FC Destroy the solo. team who's inside of zone, as Jailings will be eliminated. FaZe doing a little bit of work in the kill feed as well. I believe the Snipe Down has found himself a Kraber, but Blackhand as a 2, trying to show presence here inside of Fragment East.
So Blackhand as a 2, Fire Beavers as a 2. There are a couple of weaker squads left. 15 in total with the squads remained in this next few circles. Now, as I said, there is about 9 teams that are going to have to move from east to west. So FC Destroy is sitting quite pretty at the moment, but they will also be the target of a lot of squads and a lot of grenades. But thankfully for them, again, just like we saw earlier in the tournament on World's Edge, you've got the perfect setup comp. You've got the ability to get that gen down, and also Newcastle get the wall up. They've made a fortress here.
Yeah, this is very, very difficult to push. And the problem is, even if you try and push it, Pinotaur's got a Kraber. One shot with this, and all of a sudden, your ideas get absolutely scattered.
Here we go.
Don't stand still if you're on World's Edge right now, because this man on the Newcastle, he's looking to hit some shots. Looking at the kill feed though, KCP involved. Zane just picked up 1. And Ascend being chased down at the moment by Naked.
3 squads all being pushed into the zone by the circle now. Naked, Ascend, and Exet. E6 are watching from the southern side, whilst FaZe, Onyx, Pioneers, and Go Next are trying to arrive from the southern side as well. Everyone at the moment is just being forced in, and you've got to try and work out who you're looking at, and that's difficult enough.
But look at this brilliant positioning now from Exet. The wrap that they made towards zone, with the zone pulling so violently back towards them, means that now they can approach and they have a walk-in. Ascend trying to hold on. Look at the last player alive for them. He looks like he could be in problems. Naked eliminated in the meantime as Exet. They win the fight but do lose Sykes on their way forward.
And that's bad news, because Element 6 have been waiting so long patiently to get involved in this fight, and they say this is the perfect time now. We can push up. Ascend eliminated, 13 squads remaining, as everyone is just about found somewhere to play in this circle.
Slayers and E6 going to take the height away from where Exet were a few moments ago. Realize eliminated in the meantime as Optic Gaming start to come to life a little bit, and it's about damn time for them to do so as well. It's when you're going to pop that Phoenix kit. Going to be able to get back up to full health. But you can see they've still got a way to go here down to get into that zone.
Exet is split at the moment, and that's not good for the Blackhand. We're trying to take a peek, but remember, they are just a 2 at the moment as well. FaZe were losing members, and I think there's only 1 player left on the FaZe squad, so that's going to be a rat situation to try and get maybe some placement points, get into the top 10 at the bare minimum. There's still 4 teams on the southeast side of this circle. Dreamfire, Onyx, Go Next, and Pioneers, very close in a building, and when this circle moves them, they're going to have so many eyes. This is going to be a really tough rotation for them. FC Destroy, though, you have to say, they are in the winning position at the moment, but I have seen teams lose it from here.
It's very, very true. The good news for them is that everyone else who has to kind of come towards them are stacked up on each other. I mean, look at this in front of us right now. Dreamfire, Onyx, KCP all have to leave here, and FC Destroy can focus on them, can try and do something with that and pick off the KP that's left over. For now, though, Onyx Esports trying to hold on
that
inside
truck.
of the truck, trying to exchange fire and trying to survive, but they have to leave at some point.
Yeah, they're going to have to leave now. Zone's coming through. Dreamfire also going to be leaving at the same time. Kraber in action. Onyx will lose 1 as Pioneers start to make their move.
They get 1. Raki's going to go down from Onyx, but Dreamfire is still a problem. FaZe eliminated in the meantime. Dreamfire do come out, it seems, as the sole winners of that fight, or at least a survival race. And now with the Black Veils down, might have a second just to reset. The question is, does Roy still have that Kraber? Because he's been in that kill feed popping off.
Yeah, these Dark Veils are going to be massive for teams just to try and avoid attention, but you can go up into the sky, but it's going to be like clay pigeon shooting. You will be taken down. Pioneers eliminated. 7 squads remain as Dreamfire are still alive, and they are cooking.
The crowd is loving it as Pioneers will fall. Dreamfire continue to move forward. 3MZ has gone down, but with 7 squads remaining, more shots like this might be more KP.
It's just about now taking your fights and hitting your shots, but it looks like it could be the end for Dreamfire. Roy, the last remaining player, does not do enough as Dreamfire eliminated, and now suddenly all attention goes back to the likes of FC Destroy, who are holding center zone as we've got 6 squads remaining.
Let's jump into an E6 listening right now. They are getting hyped. They are so close right now.
I'm with you.
I'm getting more
One is looting on the smoke.
I'm checking left. Come
right here, running back.
Don't go crazy. It's a team above you, okay?
Okay, I'm going back.
On top, flying, flash.
Yeah, I need to heal. Nice, let's do. Just play slow for a second. Just heal. Yeah. I just need to heal. Just wait. Careful there,
I'm gonna pop a syringe here.
The right is very important. Can you put it bottom? Well, I'm coming with you. I'm coming with you.
There's no one bottom on the left. No one.
It is. They're playing on the other side of it. Okay, come in, swing. Plan me right now.
Okay.
One's pushing me. On.
Nice.
I'm coming back. Yeah, we find you. Fine.
Just wait. They're gonna fight now.
Can we climb up, baby? On the right. Play the heady on the right.
Okay.
We still have lots of time, boys.
Yep.
Very good. Can we kill bottom?
Yeah, we can.
Play on me right now. Hit up that.
Good on me.
I'm starting. Nice, I'm going left.
I'm with you, Joe.
I'm chopping forward. Careful above. We're good.
Okay, I'm with you.
The intensity is there from E6. The bubble is down, but can they wrap? But can they survive here? Down, everybody is stacked up. They're trying to finish off Blackhand.
FC Destroyer are going to poke out as soon as they see anything in this kill feed case when he's so weak and he goes down. This is bad news for E6.
And surely this just opens the door now for FC Destroy to move in. It does! They had zone. They had the fortress. And FC Destroy put up a big game under pressure.
FC Destroy had absolutely everything they could have wanted in that final circle. But one of the most important things, as I always say, was the patience. Waiting, picking their right moment, and then arriving in those final moments just to get those extra kills. And it puts them up to around 34 points. And I said, you know, that might be the magic number. Between 31 and 34, maybe that could be enough done by FC Destroy already. And as for E6, though...
It's like relief when you see it, right?
As for E6, still a big game for them. It did push them into the top 10, which I'm sure they'll be delighted about. But again, still so tough in those final moments to try and work out where you need to go, especially when you've got a team literally holding a fortress in the middle of the map.
Yeah, so tough to do, and E6 gave it their all. And that's all you can ask in those kind of situations. Maybe they had to burn the bubble a little bit earlier than they would have wanted to, with FC Destroy just poking over the top of the tracks to try and do that damage. But that win at this stage of the tournament, ahead of the match point finals, knowing you've taken such a, it's not even a step down, it's a leap towards being here tomorrow. Massive for FC Destroy.
Yeah, Blackhand on 54, Riddlorder 49, Exet onto 40. I'd say those three should be in the grand final. FC Destroy just behind that on 34. I would imagine they're about on that bubble amount of total of points. So just a couple more for FC Destroy should guarantee them to Championship Sunday. But don't tell them that. Make sure that they just stay focused. Keep trying to win games, boys. Don't let it get that close where you're on the bubble. Just instead, make sure you have your own destiny in your hands.
I mean, you can just feel the emotion release from FC Destroy. They know how important that win was. And it was all, you have to say, down to either zone prediction or maybe just a little bit of luck with it coming back to where they were.
That being said, though, they did force Fire Beavers out of this truck. They said they wanted it, and they forced the Beavers away from their dam and instead built a fortress of their own. And as soon as they had set up, it was about taking extra space, getting those fences down, making sure you have the gen up to stop grenades pelting you. But if you can get in positions like this, when there's lots of squads in a final circle, not many people are going to pay any attention to you. Instead, they're all worrying about the edge. They're worrying about who they're getting pushed from. And then when it was down to just 3 squads, it was just a matter of time for FC Destroy. They would occasionally poke and prod, but then they would go back to their hidey hole, try and encourage the fight, and then eventually it was just a matter of time.
And that was the big play, I think, from them that really secured the game, right? Making E6 burn that bubble. Just having a little poke over the top, making sure that if that bubble's available and E6 are in position to climb up, they can climb, they can get the bubble down, and then all of a sudden, they've got something to worry about. But FC Destroy, I mean, how do you push that? What's the fences if you've got to climb going to be a problem? The Newcastle wall in front of you is going to be a problem. And then they've got the smokes to play with as well. And wow, hammer drill. 2.6k damage coming in from him on the Bangalore, leading the way for his squad.
I mean, a crypto would have been nice, I guess. That could have at least done something about the setup that they had.
Very true.
Not going to be the case for a lot of those squads because they didn't have one to use. But that is amazing news for FC Destroy. I also saw a member of Riddlorder go in and congratulate as well. Great to see the region coming together to support one another. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot of APAC North representation in the grand final. It's been insane how good they have been at this tournament. But other regions, still a lot to do here in Elimination Bracket Round 2, or the Elimination Final, if you want to look at it that way. But the Dreamfire fans, they had something to shout about because Dreamfire still got far enough And Dreamfire at the moment, they are in 10th place.
Oh
If it was like this, they would be in that grand final.
If Dreamfire hold on to that 10th place, or better, of course, then I tell you what, that section of fans down the front in the copper box are going to go insane. But that is how things look after that match is done. So the results, FC Destroy, of course, on top. 8 kills alongside the 12th placement point gives them a bomb 20, which in this kind of environment, when you just want one big game,
Pro League.
it's almost, you know, you can't put a price on it.
It's the big Apex tournament.
Optic Gaming, 17
All
points,
pros.
12 kills. They were silently frying the lobby as they marauded towards the zone, and that is a big game for them that sends
Not
them
feeling too
up to
hot.
6th place in the overall standings right now,
Yeah.
giving them a fantastic chance of getting to that
Knives are
grand
killing
final
me.
as well. Remember, they were in
Hard.
elimination round 1, so they have come a long way to be in consideration for that grand final.
Exit as well, we believe maybe done enough with that performance, 10 kills to their name,
Right.
but this is where things start to get a little bit dicey. Looking at some of the names in this list, the bottom 11 from that game, a lot of them transfer over, Dan, to what we are seeing outside of that top 10 overall.
Yes, I am very worried for Northeption, Realize, Ascend, Complexity, and Entropic. They are our bottom 5 at the moment in the overall standings. And if we think that the magic number's around 31 to 34, then they're going to need to drop a 20 bomb at some point to put them up there and give themselves a chance of getting into that grand final. There are the series results as they stand after 4 games, so it is going to be FaZe, Pioneers, and Dreamfire all on 20 points, holding that 10th position. It would come down to tiebreakers if they all tied, of course, but at the moment they still have games to get it done.
Absolutely ridiculous stuff coming in from our teams. I mean, look at it could be closer, really. 3 teams on 20, absolutely ridiculous. Just behind them as well, 18. We've got 2 more games of Apex today. It is going to be a wild, wild end to day number 3 here. But I tell you what, these fans have been a special part of it, Dan. They have been making so much noise throughout the day, and at the moment, their favorite Dreamfire are holding on. The question is, are they going to be able to do it?
Well, I mean, if they manage to push their way through to the zone but not get caught out, it's going to be amazing. Anyway, we're going to go for a quick break. When we come back, we've got match number 5.
I'll make sure everyone makes it home.
We're a team. We look out for each other.
I won't let you down.
Let's go.
That was a sick game, dude.
No one gets left behind.
Herman Miller Gaming is the official chair partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
London's calling here, and we only have 2 games of Apex to decide who will be able to answer that call tomorrow as we head towards our match point finals. 2 more games remaining here, Dan. We've got to find out who are going to be those 10 teams going through.
And it could not be closer for those top 10 spots. There are a few teams who should have already guaranteed themselves in the grand finals, but plenty to play for with only 2 maps remaining. And with how it's going and with how some of these zones have been, we've had 15 squads left going into some of these final circles. Everyone just trying to squeeze out every placement point possible, playing it safe, playing it careful. But now going into match number 5, is this where we see some of these teams who are really far from that bubble start to push it a little bit harder?
Pace certainly could change as we only have 2 matches remaining. Match 5 is live. World's Edge once again going to be the battleground for our teams. And keep in mind the team who is holding down that final qualification place at the moment in 10th at Dreamfire.
The Dreamfire fans in the crowd are letting them know that they are behind them. And we have a lot of fans in this audience who just seem to be back certain few squads. E6 also have a lot of fans here. At the moment, they're in 7th place after their incredible top 3. As Ascend are going to be contested. And we knew this was a possibility earlier. As we go again, Gibby's there.
Oh, the bubble fight, I've missed you. PK's always good. PK even better. That's 2 now for Lufka. Question is, can he get all 3? Entropic eliminated. He doesn't get all 3, but Ascend survive. And how vital is that for them, Dan? As they came into this game, Ascend, they were down in 16th position. If they go out there, that might be it. That could be the tournament over.
I mean, actually, even worse, they were in 18th. They've jumped up to 16th over Entropic.
Glad you paid attention.
Because they got those kills, and that is how close it is between those guys at the bottom of the leaderboard. I knew this contest could happen. Entropic avoided it in the first map. They went over towards Big Maud, but maybe they felt that their rotation wasn't good from there. They probably got griefed quite a lot from Optic Gaming, who Optic had 12 kills or whatnot throughout the previous game, so I probably want to avoid them as well. But that is a massive win for Ascend, who really need a game to light themselves up and actually give themselves a real opportunity of getting to a grand final yet again.
E6 fans, I'm sure you're smiling right now because we're going towards Trials, exactly where they find themselves, and it's going to be pulling all the way towards the back here, you would imagine, Dan. Good news for Xset, of course. 100 Thieves, I've got my eyes on you as well. You should be able to get such a good position. And they need it, Dan. I mean, look at the leaderboards at the moment. 100 Thieves are down in 15th position, and they cannot surely miss out on another final.
Well, Xset was saying about all these southern zones, and they were praying for some caster curses on the southern zones. Well, there you go. There's the most northern zone you could probably get at this point, and Xset should have an opportunity to pick up some real points. This is going to be a tough one, though, for the likes of Naked. Optic Gaming realize who are moving from the southeast side of this map, a big, old, long, treacherous journey where they have to push through the likes of Harvester and behind teams who are going to be there quicker than them, sitting in those choke points. But this is going to be a fun game for those who can sit in those choke points, as Fire Beast currently have it stuck.
Good Lord will be on the other side of this. Oh, my goodness, Side Impulse, your spray! They pay! That's going to be 2 here. As Fire Beavers look to clean up the mess they started, they win that fight, and boy, is Orion getting pumped up.
Element 6 also having a fight, and they're just trying to get into position at the moment, it would seem, but Xset are doing exactly the same thing, as well as Dreamfire. So all these teams, they're racing to the top right now.
It's a race to the tower, and you can see at the moment that E6 are having a hold. They get one onto Fun, but there's the exchange of knocks. E6 going to be able to reset momentarily. Are Xset going to drop? Swinny's got to get this battle, people. Oh. And E6 fall! E6 fall! As Nocturnal clutches up for Xset.
Nocturnal just dumped all over that, man. That was disgusting what I just saw. The battery was popped, but it did not matter, and Xset will hold, and they get the tower for their own. That is so good for Xset. Bad news, though, for E6.
So crazy. I mean, the tournament could come down to a Peacekeeper being hit and a Mastiff being missed. That's how close that fight was and what it came down to in those final moments. Dreamfire, though, look at the position they've managed to sneak their way into, by the way. We've seen a lot of end zones pull towards those fences and that little house they find themselves in, but Xset, I mean, for them, winning that fight kind of guarantees them, you would say, unless they misplay, at least a top 6-7.
I thought for sure it was going to be E6 after the bat was popped. Great news for Xset. Elsewhere, Onyx They're at the bottom floor at the moment, trying to just throw a couple of grenades up to do initial damage, but they're just going to have to use the exhibit or run away from the exhibit as Complexity have got one down.
You're going to have to work very, very hard in this game to come out with a victory or certainly be involved in that end game. It's a Skyhook trial zone, which means that some teams are going to be able to stack up inside of Skyhook. There's always going to be a room to play. You can expect to see the 17 squads that we still have remaining in this game probably in and around zone 4, 5, unless we see someone try and push the pace a little bit like you were suggesting might happen at the start of this game.
Well, Realize is taking a fight with Naked at the moment and have been able to get 2 knocks as well. So they're maybe trying to push the pace a little bit down on the southern side as they try and rotate away from the zone. And a lot of those squads who are on the south and on the east are moving quite quickly. We're seeing a lot of teams trying to get into place very early, and also we're seeing fights happening a little bit earlier because I think people are getting a bit antsy at the moment looking at their points totals, knowing that they need to have a big game. You can't afford to just sit in a secondary position and hope the zone pulls your way. Is he playing on a tablet?
I think that was stuck for a second. One of the weirdest controls I've ever seen. Anyway, J-Lings involved in a fight. Trying to pop the EMP and it's Ascend. We're trying to take this off them at the moment. This is completely, like you say, influential to what we can expect to see tomorrow in that match point finals lobby. Noises has fallen. Ascend on top here and post-kill. Obviously feeling very comfortable here as he's going to pop the ult himself.
And I really thought Ascend would thrive in this meta. A squad who were always good at posting up, getting into zone, finding that perfect spot. But because they've been griefed, because they've been contested so much in this tournament, a lot of people have disrespected them by dropping on their location, knowing that they are a team who likes to quickly rotate away, saying, well, actually, we'll just take that loot that you're going to leave. But one big game, and suddenly they can rewrite that narrative and find themselves in a grand final.
100T are up on top of Trials for now. It's a good position to have towards, I would say, the mid to late game, but it's getting off of that position towards the end that can be somewhat of a difficulty. Trials inside is going to be held by Ascend. I'm pretty sure that FaZe was sniffing about on the other side as well. As now we see just a second of calm here, but I mean, that's a much more electric start, I would say, than what we've seen in the previous games. Like you were alluding to, Dan, I think you're right. Some teams are just starting to look desperate.
A lot of desperate attempts to just try and get into those prime positions. There's also 5 teams still in the zone at the moment, taking their time all the way down to launch site where Naked are still running away from Realize. Whilst Ascend, though, they hold Trials, they can stay here for quite some time. There might be a situation where they get pushed. And Go Next, they're also going to be comfortably in a building. There are several teams in Skyhook here that are just going to be able to wait this one out, wait for the teams that are arriving late to choose who they want to push, where they want to go. That's when the action is really going to kick off. Look where Realize and Naked are. They are so far down south at the moment. They need to start getting a boogie on. I know that Naked are just a 1, but Realize probably should start moving.
I think they've decided that that's not worth chasing. They've finally given up on the chase. Realize going to probably think about crafting on their way towards zone to get some med kits to make sure they can get there. Optic Gaming as well, you can see just leaving Harvester as well. They just hit the ring console over there as well as being able to do a little bit of crafting themselves. So Optic will know where this zone is going, but getting in is going to be tough. I mean, look at the top left-hand side of that map. Everybody is stacked up. Fire Beavers leaving it late as well over at Monument, having won that initial fight that we saw, but this is going to be a bit of carnage based end game.
I do love watching this zone, and Dreamfire have taken one of the best buildings for it. KCP also playing the rocks in the north. I mean, that can be one of the priority positions as well. You can do a lot of damage and get a lot of kills from up there when people are just trying to scarper across the train tracks. The zone does often pull as far north as this, so Pioneers are banking on that. There were a few teams who moved away from Skyhook, just down to the southern side, closer to Countdown, maybe hoping for a little whiskey pull towards that way as well. But everyone at the moment, it really is just patience. It's the calm before the storm. It's knowing full well that no one wants to take those risks. 15 squads remain, so everyone's got 1 placement point at the moment. That could be 1 point closer to those grand finals.
Northeption at the moment, kind of just to the, you would say, the east of where Pioneers find themselves, but not to show too much presence at the moment. This is kind of the situation of do or die for Northeption. If this isn't a good game, then they will be done.
You would imagine so. It puts them in a serious situation where they'd have to have a mammoth game, not even just a win with some kills. It would have to be a win and record-setting kills at that point. So it has to be a good game from Northeption now. And considering they were the winningest team in the season coming into this, I was expecting maybe for them to put on a better showing here in the elimination bracket final. And if they had been in that grand final, all those stats start to come together when it gets to match point. But they just haven't been able to get rolling here. But 2 games is still enough to put things in your own hands and maybe just be able to set destiny your way.
KCP going to have a job. You can see they're spread out at the moment, trying to hold as much ground as they can at the northern side of Skyhook. Dreamfire still set up in what you'd imagine might well be God's spot here. And with the comp that they've got the Catalyst for able to reinforce the doors, completely control it. Piercing spikes are going to slow down anyone who tries to take it off them. A little peek through the window there to just wave at the neighbors. But no shot's going to be fired in vain. Optic Gaming trying to make their rotate from countdown now, so they're slowly approaching. And all of a sudden, every single team is now within the zone. But look at Northeption. Look at this skyward dive.
Yeah.
Are KCP ready for this?
KCP up into the skies, want to take the fight. Black Hole arrives as well. This could be trouble.
Zane goes down though, and all of a sudden, KCP have got to turn this one around. They managed to find 1, they managed to find 2, but are they able to clutch it?
Gets the knock, gets the finish, and Dark Veil will come up just to get the shield swap here.
But here come Blackhand, and here come Onyx. They want a piece of this as well. They know how valuable this position was that Pioneers were holding down, and Naski's realized it. Does he have time to stick this res?
This is such terrible news for Pioneers. They were sitting pretty, now the nades will arrive. Has to cancel it, has to try and get away because the grenades are there. And we will still see one member of Northeption still alive on the height and just going to be a thorn in the side to Pioneers now.
Exhibit is down. Naski's trying to crouch so he doesn't come up, but it's essentially a straight 1v1 for the IGL to try and win. Or does he try and survive? He's doing a little bit of mountain goat work right now. He's going to have to be careful. Don't look down, Naski. Don't look down.
He almost took his hands away from his mouse and keyboard there to say, well, I think I might just be posting up and staying here for quite some time. Now, Onyx, who were having a look, were also greeted by Fire Beavers who are getting involved as well. Onyx have lost 1. They'll push up, maybe see the 1 member of Northeption if they do look to the heavens, but no, they're just going to try and survive.
Here come the Beavers. Onyx Esports having to retreat desperately. Fussy is not going to be able to get back to his feet, you would imagine. They're trying to smoke off and slow things down, but the question is, can they spot him out? Northeption still have that player alive up on height. Naski is saying, hey, everybody just leave me alone for a second. Everything's cool. I think there's like a gentleman's agreement right now between Razy and Naski. It's like, you survive, I'll survive, but I'll tell you what, Razy's decided he's going to try and thrive instead of survive. Shots coming in with a 30-30.
Maybe he just got a little bit trigger happy there. He probably could have sat here and looked comfortable, but maybe locked eyes with one of the Fire Beavers members. But at least he can get all the loot that his teammates have been able to gather. All the meanwhile, the zone is pulling over towards the tower that XSET were able to grab right at the start of the game. You can see why it was such a furious fight between XSET and E6.
All of a sudden,
oh boy.
Force their way inside of the Dreamfire household.
What is this? This is the Pro League tournament.
A little bit too late for their liking. Blackhand trying.
We're in the elimination round of the losers, I think.
This is now a shared occupation. Looking elsewhere on the map. Everyone, I think the scariest thing here, Dan, is everyone in Skyhook now has to leave.
It is quite unsettling as well when you are on the basement of those
Cabby!
buildings. You hear the tippy taps of the feet running around, and you know full well that at any point they could just dive on you. So we go back to Rapcam.
This is ALGS
23 points.
Apex tournament.
Wonders if they were able to survive. Now Northeption were eliminated. Naski will have been able to get that information, and now he knows that he is alone and not the only rat.
The one thing that Fire Beavers don't know is that Naski is still there. Haven't eliminated that solo player. You have to wonder if maybe they'll get a little bit of info from the heartbeat sensor, but Dreamfire now, their next move is made a little bit more difficult. I imagine they're going to be pretty much safe for now. XSET's still the only team chilling within zone. Realize having a little scrap at the bottom of the zone where it's pushing in now with FC Destroy. And Realize
Never heard of it. It's a pretty big tournament. These are all the top player pros from all over the world.
Lose one player on their way forward. Make that 2. Pinotaur's going to have to do it on his own.
Go Next also trying to push through. Complexity in a little spot of bother, but can throw a couple of grenades down. Utility being used to do some damage as they're just checking their backs at the moment. Pioneers, by the way, and KCP.
Figured I'd try out a watch party. I was watching it anyways.
Eventually spot him out, so no extra placement points for KCP.
And now everyone in the lobby knows where that zone is going. Optic Gaming
Just
versus FaZe, though. Two of the biggest
insane.
all of esports battling out for a place in the match point
Yeah.
tomorrow, and Optic Gaming
These guys are nuts. Next level.
FaZe need these points as well. They're in 8th position in the overall.
4th zone and there's still 10 squads, 28 people. It's just chaotic. In-games are insane. FaZe snipe down.
As well as every squad that you see on your screen.
Surprisingly, he's in the elimination. He used to be in Hunter Thieves. Or is it a Hunter Thieves? TSM.
A fighting situation that they'll have to come out on top of, but look at complexity right now. You can see the teams remaining on the right.
This man giving them the sauce.
They have moves to make, and they might just be ones that have to save the tournament.
This shit was funny.
To a listening with complexity.
These guys too.
Yeah, on low. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. On low or on maybe even both,
15
honestly.
seconds. 15 seconds. We'll go. Okay.
Okay. Still nothing up there. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Okay. Smoky.
Yep. Pretty much circuit.
Popping up now. Careful, no smokes.
Yep.
Drop Hagger.
Safe,
Drop Hagger. Drop Hagger. Drop Hagger.
I'm gonna rat here.
Yeah, do it. Careful, Valkyries.
They bang
bang ulting down.
Okay.
Bang ulting deep, okay?
Yep. Nothing on scan at the moment.
Safe on me.
Safe on us.
Safe.
Yep.
Team on the right side. Team on the right side.
I hear climbing. I hear climbing. They might be on top of me.
Okay, no scan. No scan. Or no Q. No Q.
I'm getting ready.
They're gonna be up here. They're gonna be.
Yeah,
they're
going up.
climbing. No, no zero. Yeah, they're up there. They're there. I need to come to Luna. Popping about here. I'm coming to Luna too. They landed on top rock. Careful.
Yep, they're right above us. I'm hiding then.
They are.
I don't like above us.
They're gonna ape us. Yeah, they're gonna ape us now. Get ready.
Ooh, it's like 4 teams right next.
Yeah, I'm going back to our spot. I got naded. I'm 1 HP.
What ugly crap.
Yep.
It's funny.
I'm dead. I'm gonna die. My spot's safe again, Mon. They're gonna pick me and I'm dead. Coming to you. They're still above us on the southeast.
Yep. I got 2 of them on scan. There's a full team where I died. Full team where I died.
Zero. I'm gonna burn zero, okay? Yeah, do it. I smoked above us.
No shield heals.
Pop a syringe? Yeah. They're gonna drop on us pretty soon. Next to your Q, they're going to.
It's FaZe.
We can play off it. Yep.
FaZe got ultimate heist right now.
Can we scan in front, please?
Yep. Scanning now. Nothing on the left side.
On me. 1 on 2 on 1.
They just got destroyed. FaZe griefing the shit out of them.
But they forced themselves inside of the top 9. FaZe have been holding onto the edge of this cliff for the entire time down as now we see.
Oh, they're dropping. One down. 2 down. 1 left.
As FaZe finally will push in and do the damage, but they're also just scarpering back up.
Clean that up.
They know full well that if they can just slowly
Behind the care package.
their way in, they are still in a good spot.
Ooh. Snipe down.
They were on the tower
Nice.
earlier and they control a lot of the zone.
Oh my god. Oh!
A snipe down is the king of the castle, up on top of this rock, trying to do what he can to clear the way.
It's FaZe and 100 Thieves going at it at the moment. Snipe down does get the bat off, but Phony needs to be joining him to help him, but this is a tough fight to take. You're looking up and you've got rocks that are just holding those ledges and those head glitches that makes it difficult. Good decision though, make those shield swaps.
100 Thieves versus FaZe.
Great position, but look at Ascend. Ascend have taken the high off them on the drill tower, and all of a sudden Exit, who have been in such a good position for the majority of this game, have given it up to Ascend.
FaZe have lost 1, make it 3. FaZe are out as we also see several players trying to push in and take this position. Ascend in everything right now.
Oh my god. Get that shield.
Are gonna have to live up to their name. One more more game remaining for them, but this one is done and dusted. Fun is still alive for Exit as a solo. Ascend.
100 Thieves is still.
Also have one remaining player from Firebeavers as a rat as well. So it's Ascend, it's Exit,
that med kit off.
and 100 Thieves, but it's Ascend who have the full 3 at the moment.
Oh my god, nice beam.
Like Ascend are in prime position to win this one.
Oh, they want to push this one. They're trying to Watson fence up to make sure that Exit cannot escape. Exit did get the res
Smart.
but Nocturnal
Makes me want to play Watson. Oh, 100 Thieves take high ground.
Well, of course, you still have to move away from this high ground, and Ascend know that. That's why they've backed off.
Oh my god, he's right there. Ooh, nice.
Versus Exet with just a couple of rats getting in the way at the moment, and they really can dictate how this final circle is going to go.
Save that vault.
So anyone even knows that 9imps is there at the moment from Firebeavers.
Oh, they're full send in height. Oh, nope.
Exit eliminated. They are done and dusted, and we are down to 3 teams. Firebeavers.
One rat. Oh my god.
To try and survive, but he's getting focused, but the gold shield is going to be massive here. He gets
That wasn't it.
2 squads remaining. 100 Thieves ascended it.
They have, but they've lost Backslon, so you've got to do the damage. Trade 1 for 1. It's a 2 versus 2 here as 100 Thieves look through the smoke.
Scurry moves in, but all of a sudden he seems to have lost track of where they are. And now he falls behind 1. He falls
Oh my god.
It's a 1v1.
Nope.
Scurry's down. Ascend win it.
He almost had that.
When their backs are against the wall, they pull out the biggest game they could have possibly wanted to put themselves within a chance of getting to that grand final. Kashira popping off quite rightly. They managed to take the high ground initially off of Exet. They forced them off it. Then they find themselves on that low ground. And they just had to bide their time. They pushed the
Did you kick that chair? What's he so angry for?
just to place themselves accordingly, and they were prepared for the drop of 100 Thieves.
The mentality monsters are not done yet. So many great calls, so many pivotal fights won. And then, that's the one thing you can't teach, I always say it, it's the ice in the 1v1 scenarios. Ascend will win it and give themselves a shot at being here tomorrow.
That puts Ascend in 6th position in the overall standings. 32 points. That's awfully close to that bubble number. That
not at the moment. Let me see. I know the prize pool for like first place is
so tight for that top 10. At the moment in 9th, 100 Thieves on 28, in 10th, Optic Gaming on 28, followed by Go Next on 26 and E6 on 24. So just a few points separating about 6 teams right now. Match 6 is going to be so nerve-wracking.
And something to shout about for the Ascend fans who have made their way here to London. But now it's time to forget about what just happened and refocus, because the job isn't done. Time for us to look at what just happened in that final circle from Ascend's POV, Dan, and you have to say the moment that I believe they won that game was when they initially took height from Exet.
They took the height from Exet, they forced them off it. Exet, of course, then died. And then Ascend were kind of griefed a little bit, so they decided to full send down onto Go Next and take the spot off of them. But this was the consideration for them. They had this spot, they saw where the zone's going, they knew that the high ground would just be able to pepper them.
We're in London right now.
At this moment, they used distraction, I think, to then send it
So
on
what
low
is
ground, and then they could just hold it a little bit more safe.
London? E.
Underneath 100 Thieves is the big moment for me, because then everybody
APAC
is focusing
North.
the solo player, right? They come in here, they finish off Exet.
Looks like first place is $20,000. Not for winning a game, for winning the series.
So you're not gonna have your gun up. So it's a brilliant
Pro League.
to take the low ground.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And now you've just got to hit your shots. It's as simple as that. Lufka with a great spray here.
I thought that seemed a little low. That's Pro League regular season. First place is $20,000. For Global Series payout, first place is $300,000. Second place $160. Third place $105. and then so on and so forth.
If they want to be in Championship Sunday, they had to win that game.
Shit, 20th, you still get 9 grand. Yeah.
This guy, he is full of emotion. He will show it to you without having to be asked.
That's Pro League playoffs. The championship is $600,000 for first place. Second place, 320. Third place, 210. Yeah. Me and you both.
From what happened at Split 1 playoffs in that final 3v3 where they could have been the champions, but TSM
That's wild.
away from them.
Yeah, the championship. This is, we're in playoffs right now, so elimination round. So they're playing for $300,000 right now for first place.
But that's what I mean. It was the big game they need. They only had 8 points coming into this. They were starting to fall away from the pack.
Damn it.
A big game like that sends them so close to the grand finals.
Now, one story we've been telling for quite some time. By the way, Fire Beavers, a big game from them. All started to spark. Was lit for them with that win inside of Fragment, or Monument side, I should say. They end up with 16 points, but to go back to my point, the story I was telling.
Yeah, every year.
At the start of this lobby, Dan. 100 Thieves. So close to a finals last year. So close to a finals last year, but came up short.
Every year.
Right now, that they are in 9th place with just a few points cushion. What do you think's going through their heads right now?
Well, I think
So this is just a playoff, so today is eliminations, and then tomorrow will be 20 more squads. Like, I think the top 10 from this goes to the playoffs, I believe, and then top 10 from the other.
I'm worried complexity could just be too far behind. There is still hope. It would have to be one of the biggest games they've ever put on show in any tournament ever.
So I think there's 2 sets of 20s, and then this is from those 2 sets. Let me mute this. So I believe there was 2 sets of 20 teams playing. The bottom 10 from those 2 are in the elimination round right now. So no, that can't be right either, because then you would have the top 10s from both. I don't really know. I can't focus enough. It takes a lot. Like, pro players or something else. They're wild.
Point to get into the grand finals. I'd like to think the cutoff would be around 34, maybe even lower, but certainly the top 4 should be good. But of course, you never really know with how many points can be accumulated by some of these squads. I'm sure the mathematicians at home can work it out. But if we are going off the basis of 31, there is just a few points that some of these squads need. As for Dreamfire, they find themselves on 22 points. So the Dreamfire fans, you need to hope they have a good game here.
J-Links fans got to support their boys as well. At the moment, J-Links inside of the qualification spots, but still need to perform. Nobody who is inside of that top 10 can let it slip at the moment. The last thing you want to do is go into game number 6, the final game, Dan, in the qualification spots, and at the end of it, see yourself in 11th and below.
Yeah, if you are the likes of J-Links, FaZe, 100 Thieves, Optic, if you die early here, you're just then preying on everyone else's downfall, and the likelihood is several teams are going to overtake you, and then you wouldn't be in that grand final tomorrow. What a game it was from Ascent to put them so close to this grand final, but who's going to step up in match number 6? Are we going to see one of the big hitters absorb those points, take it away from those who are in the bottom 5 and their chances of trying to push themselves into the grand final? Or are we going to get a bit of a Cinderella story here in match number 6? Will we see the likes of Northeption, Realize, Entropic, Complexity, or Onyx finally show up here in this elimination final?
We've still got some Riddle fans in the house ready to see their team
What sucks is like the players probably don't even make that much because they have big organizations behind them. So like 100 Thieves, FaZe, TSM, NRG, Optic Gaming, all them, all these, they take probably a percentage of the winnings and then distribute what's left to the players.
Match number 6 is live here in London. Copper box.
Drop it in.
And if you are in a contest, you better be winning it in match number 6, because if you lose it, it is a long time sat in your booth watching on and hoping you've done enough to get into that grand final. Where do Entropic go? That will be my big question. They just lost to Ascend.
Grand finals tomorrow, I think. That's the big one for 600,000. Oh, they're landing contested. Are they gonna early fight? Ace and oof. Caustic's going after that blue shield. Hitting the beacon first, actually. They're gonna know zone rotation. These guys are insane. They loot so fast. They rotate out within like before the first zone closes. It's insane. Like they're already rotating. We're 30 seconds into the first zone, and they're already rotating.
Well, Ascend, this is a very, very smart play. Just minimize the risk. Make sure that the game is in your hands and not being left to the RNG gods as you land, and if you find a gun, if you don't, whatever it might be. But talking of where we're going to be going,
yeah.
where this game is going.
Yeah, I'm
it looks like we might be moving a little bit towards countdown.
And I'm slow compared to most people.
Skyhook is on the map, but countdown is looking like a pretty good bet at this point.
It's all RNG too, so I mean, like, if you don't get shit, that's very good. Takes a little bit longer.
And I don't see from any of the teams out of Skyhook.
We were in a moment for.
So we could have something pretty similar, which is good news for all those teams who succeeded before. Of course, we're not going to go as far as we did outside trials this time. It could be more of a Skyhook zone.
This is the last game. I don't know what's happening after this. I might. Yeah, maybe 20, 30 minutes.
Pings coming in from teams who want to take certain positions. Dreamfire involved in a fight, and
okay.
at the moment they are inside of Skyhook in our picture. Flesh damage being done, but Dreamfire, this is the building that we saw Exit trying to hold, but Onyx took it off of them earlier. And Onyx had a very good game as well.
Remember, any of the teams who are outside of the top 10, if they die now, they are eliminated.
Yeah, pretty much all of them play on PC.
Not compete in Championship Sunday. 20 squads.
But I mean, you can play on. Just because you're on PC doesn't mean you can't play on controller. So I mean, there's quite a few controller players. Like Snipe Down's controller player. I know for sure. There's a lot of controller players. Probably about 50-50. Look at these 4 teams stacked. Didn't know if that was a rule. You're at a disadvantage if you're not playing on PC for the most part. And they probably don't let you play on console there because aim assist is a little stronger on console than it is on PC.
Just left without any shields or any hope really in that last game. But with a win here and a lot of kills, there is still an opportunity.
Yeah, no, that's not a rule.
And that's the problem. A win plus a lot of kills. It's not as simple as getting
like all 3 of these guys, you can, I don't know if you can see it or not, but they're all on mouse and keyboard. You can tell who's on mouse and keyboard for the most part by the way their screen flicks back and forth.
It's not out of the realms of possibility, but it is certainly a difficult task. Now we're going to see a lot of this, but also we get our first fight.
We certainly do indeed. It's Jailings versus E6.
That guy's on controller right there on E6. You see how his hands are underneath? He's on controller. He's on mouse and keyboard. Controller. E6 has got 2 controller players and 1 mouse and keyboard. Which is a nice balance. I think you want 1 mouse and keyboard player, and then depending, if you got really good mouse and keyboard players, you want 2 mouse and keyboards, 1 controller. But controller players, just the percentage of 1 mags they get compared to mouse and keyboard is ridiculous. Perks of mouse and keyboard right there. Oh no. Nice jetpack. Ooh, they're healthy as fuck. Gibraltar's down with gold shield. Nice nade to stall. Nope. They're just swinging. E6 gone.
They would need the biggest game of their lives if they were to find themselves competing tomorrow. A bitter pill to swallow here for E6.
Think E6 is out.
Who they eliminated, maybe that was just a little bit of revenge to watch.
Let's look.
In that lobby screen. Northeption, like you say, it would have to be a Cinderella story. They will need far more kills than they have already if they want to be in that finals lobby, but they're doing everything they have to do, Dan.
And it's exactly the same as what happened to Pioneers last game. Northeption, because they have to have that big game, they are going to be going for more risks, and they are going to be pushing teams who are going to be a little bit more cautious. And sometimes when you are the aggressor, you can get that advantage in the fight.
Dark 0 won last year.
They could not survive, they could not reset. And unfortunately, they will not be competing on Sunday. Now, Pioneers, who I did mention, 13th
Looks
place
like
at the moment. They do find themselves in Skyhook, and the circle is still going towards Skyhook. So they're in a good spot at the moment, a healthy
Pro League playoffs year 2.
It's about not making mistakes.
News, events, registry overview.
It has been such a long day, a long tournament.
Points and prizes.
One slip of concentration here where you don't see a team walking up on
Hey, Neeners. What's my Neener girl doing? You want to watch Apex?
Mistakes are almost as valuable to a team that's trying
What are you
to
doing?
take a point
Nee-nee.
away as a good play. So you have to make sure you're the one that's minimized.
That's my wiener.
A lot of the teams in Skyhook should be in a safe spot. It's more the teams that are arriving now from the south, the west, and the east who are going to be having fights along their way on their rotations. Riddle Order and Realize are posturing up against.
Would you like to see my wiener? Stop, Nene. The wiener. Alright. Go find something to do.
More risks as well. But going up against Riddle Order, a team who are already in the grand final with the points totals, we would think they also could be a team who maybe is a little bit crazy and can take some risks and might ruin some games.
Optic Gaming, as it stands, are in 10th position.
Come on, me. Come on. Can you make it? Oh.
Moving up just past Monument at the moment. Fire Beavers are on the Beacon Building house just to their north. On the other side.
Oh, she just wanted to chill up here. That's surprising.
Possibly with an evac tower.
Ah, Nene. No, ma'am.
Hit the skies and try and
What are you
find somewhere
doing?
to play in Skyhook. Realize on your screen, they look like they're going to go for a zone wrap here, or maybe try and play through trials.
Well, Exeter are above them. They've heard
Uh-oh.
this.
Uh-oh.
Exeter are very low when it comes to shields, and they're also quite split
Okay.
at the moment.
They got height.
As we've alluded to, we think Exeter, well actually, I'm going to tell you, Exeter are going to be in the grand final. They have 51 points. There is no worry for them at the moment, and they'll know that. So if they want to send this, they could, but they're more than happy to hold trials for now.
Zone rotate.
Realize down in 19th position at the moment on 9 points. Another team who kind of falls into the category of
Oh my god, my mic is dirty. Gotta clean that.
be here tomorrow, but the zone
I
Rapids
keep going in there.
trying to go through Exet, or is it? You know, at some point they're going to have to take a fight. Maybe that fight against Exet was one that, with an armor check or two, they could have thought about taking.
Yeah, a win with just a few kills is not going to be enough for Realize, so they need to be doing something similar
no
to
ma'am.
Perception, and when there is a chance for a fight, you probably take it. I know you can go along the route of, well, if we get to the final circle, the kills might come to us. That is entirely true. Also, in the kill feed, Complexity just got knocked. So it looks like they're having a fight, and that could be a very detrimental fight for them as well.
Could be a tournament-ending one. The zone wrap is complete here from Realize. A smile on the face here of Obley as well, because he knows that after taking damage for quite some time, they can finally reset and breathe easy for just a few moments. Teams who are inside of the zone at the moment, Pioneers,
Ooh,
FaZe,
nice. Oh my god, triple take going hard.
Shots coming in here from that triple take, certainly piercing away at the
3 out of 4.
but nothing really that's going to damage and worry
63.
that team up on height too much.
Looks like Complexity are back up to a full 3, so it was a...
It's over a half a purple per shot.
As we might see a few of them as this game goes on, but there's going to be a lot of teams that will just post up inside these buildings. I wouldn't be surprised if they relax a little bit. But as for the map and where everyone else is, Riddle Order are starting to make their way from the southwest. Entropic are still in staging in countdown at the moment, excuse me. And Go Next are also pushing through. 100 Thieves have got one player been knocked here. It's Northeption again getting aggressive, but it looks like the 100 Thieves should be okay.
Should be fine here. We'll be able to get that res. The ultimate height always gives you the opportunity not only to deny a lot of line of sight from everyone else inside a skyhook, but also you're going to hear usually someone's going to hit that zip line and you should be able to back them down. So the res will come in here for 100T. A little bit of a worrying moment for them, but they should be fine.
14 of our 18 squads are in Skyhook already. Everyone's moved quick, everyone's found a home, everyone's starting to pay rent to their landlords, and they hope that they can stay without being evicted. The 4 squads who are outside, Go Next, Entropic, Riddle Order, and Exet, they need to start thinking about where they can make their move to. The circle is going to be moving to the western side of Skyhook. Pioneers, FaZe, Realize, and Naked are in the best buildings at the moment. 100 Thieves are going to have to just slightly shift their way over when that round 3 closes.
Now, as we take a quick look at countdown on the teams who are trying to move through there, the list of teams
Gonna be another Skyhook ending.
within zone. The buildings that they're in down there, they're triple stack buildings. There is different floors that can be played. The proof in the match point finals qualification pudding, if you like, is going to be for those teams that you listed, Pioneers, FaZe, Naked, Realize, is when the traffic starts to arrive. Not only can you survive and keep control of, you know, the height, the floors that you want to, but can you stop the wave after wave? Can you hold the building and deny people coming in and survive when everybody has to leave?
It's going to be a bit like dominoes, I feel, here. As soon as one engagement starts, everyone else might be seizing the opportunity and saying, okay, this is our chance.
Zone 3 closing. 18 squads still up. 54 people.
Few points that we think we need to get us to the grand final. That's when it starts to get messy. That's when it starts to get scrappy, and that's when suddenly all plans go out the window, and it's more about
A fuse.
how intuitive you are as a team and how quickly you react to the surroundings. And are you going to be able to get those kills and win those engagements? You can plan all you like. Your IGL can give you the directions, but when you get into those fights, when there's this many squads left in a circle this tight, sometimes it just comes down to your individual ability and how you react to it.
And let me tell you, nerves can do funny things to your aim, whether you're on mouse and keyboard or if you're on controller. If you are nervous, the shots that you would hit normally when you sat at home suddenly start to go a little bit awry on the main stage here. What's on the line? Optic Gaming. We mentioned how they need a game here as well. They are currently the gatekeepers of qualification. They're in 10th position at the moment, and they're just about, I believe, inside of the zone.
I mean, the player's nervous. I'm nervous. I just bit my tongue saying that sentence, so I think I'm starting to feel it as well. The smelly sweat's coming through. Noct has taken a lot of damage, but again, we're just going to see this. A lot of teams are going to be firing upon these buildings, but is anyone going to send it? Now, the ring is going to slightly force 2 squads into Skyhook here, but again, they should be able to reside next to one another and shouldn't be a full-on engagement.
Are Optic going to be safe here in the corner of this building? Just about. Smoke comes in, Nox trying to do a little bit of scouting. It looks like the play to move up has come in. Oh no. Some fences down, and this is slowing down Optic. Just a reminder, this is Optic Gaming who hold down the final qualification spot. If they fall here, If they fall here, then this might be the end of their run.
Should be the end of their run. They want to get some kills, or they want to survive. Blackhand were trying to push them for a short while, but Optic have been able to get up and above.
Nice.
They will survive. It was a risky move, but it's worth it. They now will hold a much better position, but this was the...
I think I would have kept that Watson gen up.
A lot of commotion outside, and Optic know it. They throw a few panic grenades here.
Ooh, railed. Oh my god, flesh.
Broke fence. He's arced. I got you, I got you.
Friday is 80-80. I'm batting.
I cracked Watson,
Nice. Look to go off this, look to go off this. Let's go.
Behind knockdown. Crack.
Flash.
Damn, last guy's on the balcony.
I'm armor swapping.
He's gonna go zip, I think he's gonna go zip if he comes.
I'm mech getting. Might be another team.
I need light ammo.
Everybody's playing around the digi threats.
Can we go back towards height?
Yeah.
Because it's in Crafter right now.
No, they're bottom.
Okay, my plate. Mech hitting here? What are we thinking here? Run towards mid and pop a balloon?
I don't see anyone down here.
I don't have wall right now.
Careful. I think we run towards mid, pop a tower, or we just pop it from height. I mean, these guys.
I don't see anyone on top mid.
Okay, it's not in though. I mean, do you think we get a tower off here?
No.
They're balcony. The other team balcony. Yeah.
I'm ripping it.
A huge fight won by Optic Gaming there. There is a team up on high though and dropped. He is gonna fall. He is gonna drop as he hits the ground, and now it's just a 2 for Optic. They land on top of the building. They're gonna have to oof, but Skill Cakes, he might go down as well. He's trying to pop the bat in midair. 17 squads remaining here. Kashera's gone down for a send. Optic, desperate to survive.
Exit are losing players as well, but Optic, the kills could be massive. They're on 31 points. FC destroyed.
Oh my god.
But they should have done enough to get into the grand finals. They just now have to await and hope that the 39 points will be enough. Go next, eliminated. Go next.
Golly.
Finals tomorrow. J-Lings are preying on so many teams' downfall. Dreamfire go down, Ascend go down, Complexity out as well.
And for Pioneers, this opens the door for them. It would be another fantastic performance from the EMEA team, who have struggled so much in the back end of the season. In all of the build-up in the scrims, international scrims, they have not looked like themselves. But now they are starting to believe. 100 Thieves have just been eliminated. They were in 6th position overall.
They should be okay. 36 should be enough. At the moment, 10th is 29 points. It is still J-Lings who hold on to 10th place. Pioneers are 4 points behind J-Lings though. Naked, 6 points behind Pioneers. There is a real chance that Pioneers could steal this spot away from J-Lings, and also there's still a chance that Naked, realizing a Tropic with a big game, could also take that spot.
Riddlord are just eliminated, but their job is done. They will be joining us tomorrow for the match point finals. But Pioneers, sometimes there's just something about certain teams when you start to count them out, when you start to think maybe this is the end of the road for them, they pull out something special. Optic Gaming still alive, by the way. Holding on for dear life as a 2. I still don't know how they made it in that building.
I have no idea. And Optic, at 33 points, they're hoping that that would be enough as well, but you just at this point want to get into that top 5, get more placement points. The Pioneers are starting to get a little bit antsy. They have to move up slightly, but the building will still be in this next zone. But of course, you'll be exposed from height. This is so tough. Northeption eliminated. That's their tournament done. Naked, though, still with a chance of pushing themselves into that top 10 as they start to make...
Oh my god. No. Oh my god, they're throwing.
From Naked, but it's held off by KCP. They had to force them off. They had to win this fight. And even though they haven't been taken down yet, that might be the game and tournament continuing play coming in from Pioneers. Exit eliminated in the meantime. Teams remaining on the right-hand side. You can see Naked still alive. Now they are out, and now they are done.
No championship Sunday for Naked. Pioneers still 1 point off of J-Lings, who currently hold 10th position. There is still a world. No, Optic are gone. Pioneers knock J-Lings out of the tournament, and Pioneers may have just done enough. The only teams that could stop J-Lings and could stop Pioneers would be Realize and Entropic with a big old win here.
Who's got good positioning?
We've still got the match point finals ahead of us. Realize still alive, Dan. Still alive.
Still alive. I mean, it's
got some KP alongside it as well. Obli, Sangjun, Karampu, all of them need to do something special in this endgame.
It would have to be a win for Realize to just kick KCP from that.
Oh my God.
Tough for J-Lings as they
FaZe is still alive.
Grand finals. They drop down into 11th position.
I mean, FaZe are still holding on as well. FaZe are currently in 9th position. They're only 3 points ahead of Pioneers as it stands.
But as soon as Realize or Entropic go out,
speaking of FaZe,
they should be okay.
Oh, FaZe just got destroyed.
That changes everything.
FaZe still in 9th at 33 points. Firebeaver starting to get aggressive. As this circle begins to close, Pioneers have lost one, but the bubble goes down, and Zane is still shredding with a car.
You made your name on the big
Oh my God. Woo.
time to do it again for K.
Top 3.
Can he get the reds here? Realize holding zone.
Suddenly,
Realize that thing's gonna take it.
and the only team that would push them out would be Realize.
You shouldn't me.
Pioneers are going to be safe. They're going to be in the grand finals.
Oh my God.
He's going to make it.
It's free. It's free. That's it. The fuck? What is that face?
Realize do what they can to try and get enough points to get into that top 10. But it may not be enough. FaZe
Yeah, so it's taking the top 10.
with the extra placement points, they were able to get into that top 5. What I can tell you is Pioneers definitely did enough. Optic did enough. Ascend did enough.
Oh. I think you can see from the reaction here of Realize they know. Even with a Herculean performance in that final game, that unfortunately they will fall short. They will be 11th overall.
Oh man.
But give it up for Realize. They gave it their all here in London. They tried so hard to force their way into that finals lobby. But even with a win down, it wasn't enough.
And that's such a tough feeling, just full of adrenaline. You got that victory, you quickly go to the stats page, you take a look, have we done enough?
Yeah, that would suck.
It was 30 points that Realize finished on, but FaZe ahead of them at 33, as well as Ascend on 33 as well. Just falling short, but we knew the cutoff was going to be around 31 to 34, and it was 33 in the end. So FaZe again, just squeak their way through into another round of Apex Legends.
What an unbelievable day it has been. Absolutely insane. But we do now have our final 20 teams confirmed. Honestly, man, I feel heartbroken for them. Like, to go into that final game, knowing what you got to do, you win the game, and you just, it's a heartbreaker, man.
It is a heartbreaker. We have to say goodbye to 10 teams. Realize, J-Lings, Go Next, E6, Dreamfire, Naked, Onyx, Entropic, Complexity, and Northeption all go home. But that does mean we get to send 10 teams into that grand final, and boy, is that lobby tomorrow going to be nuts.
Well, it's disappointment for 10 teams. But
Yeah,
on the other
that
side of
sucks.
things, it means 10 teams solidify their place in our match point finals tomorrow. Dan, that was an emotional series, but we got it done. Congratulations to everyone who's gone through and to all of those who didn't quite make it as well. But for now, that's us done. We're going to send it back down to Lauren on the desk to send us home.
Thank you very much, Onset and Gaskin. Great job closing out our elimination round 2 matches. That was neck and neck the entire series. So many teams were on that top 10 bubble. it's going to be split by mere points. And we're going to be getting to that and showing you that in just a moment. Before we do that, we have to take a look back at that final circle, talk us through some of these moments, and we get to see it from KCP's perspective here, Sabs, because they are a team, talk about coming in clutch at the very last second.
You know, in Skyhook is a specific zone that you can have so many teams in the ring. KCP was waiting on the almost the best spot on the roof, and they're just waiting until everyone gonna go outside of the zone, just taking their sweet time. You know, I was actually counting it's gonna be KCP. That was actually a surprise for me that Realize actually made it so high and won the game.
I mean, it was quite impressive.
The team underneath them, they just blindly ran out there, didn't check behind them. Still won it, but he lost 2 guys.
And honestly, that's all he really needed to do here at this point. This was right at the spot where I think they had just cusped that bubble, but then still able to make sure he handles his ones here, making sure he gets just a little bit more leeway that KCP, because at that time they didn't know what they needed to get done in that scenario. These are the match 6 specific results. You can see such an incredible performance out of Realize.
Damn, they had 9 kills.
21 points, followed by Firebeaters, Pioneers. I mean, everyone put it all on the floor in this last match.
I mean, they did exactly what they needed to do. In North Epson, they would have needed a monumental game to make it happen. I see them with 3 kills here, and the only thing I think of right now is that Element 6's game was cut short due to North Epson's rotation straight in.
Golly. First place and 9 kills total. That's 3 teams wiped, and they still didn't make it.
There's going to be a couple of these teams that we keep talking about that were kind of fighting for that bubble. They're going to be waiting to see these series results to see, did they not make it? Did they make it? And then on the flip side, teams like Blackhand that had such a stellar performance before they got here, going out early, actually opened up so many points for those other teams.
We can look on E6. I think E6 is a great example for a Skyhook zone. They're every single time in the God spot. But this time, you know, they got pushed and they actually had no choice to just fight.
All right, well, we keep talking about it. What does that mean? Who are your last 10 teams that will be fighting in tomorrow's match point finals? It's time to reveal the series results. Hopefully the teams you've been cheering for have made their way through. It was neck and neck the entire time. These teams will be separated by mere points. I cannot wait to get this up here because I know a couple of these squads had the performances they were hoping for. Like we talked about, Blackhand,
FaZe barely made it.
making their way through, popping all the way down. Tiff, this top 10.
Damn, 61 points.
Man, they had such an issue with the tiebreaker in the winner's bracket and had to drop down into elimination round 2 and faced yet another tiebreaker on their 9th and 10th, but Ascend. You know, we're keeping tabs on Kashera. You always hear that monumental.
Northception just got dumpstered. Good God.
Close to not even being able to make that finals lobby, but what a good push for them. But Fire Beavers, they couldn't even play in Split 1 playoffs.
Top 4 pretty much blew everybody out of the water.
I mean, we can take a look for Realize. I was 100% sure they're gonna qual.
100%.
You know, 11th place is actually one of the most unlucky places that you can be, but they gave the 100% in this last game.
100%.
Gave their all and got so close, but
The accent coming through thick.
really mattered the most was KCP, and if I'm not mistaken, we've got Blaze standing by with Nasky to talk about it.
Yes, I do, Glitter, because here in this elimination bracket matchup,
I've heard of Nasty.
had to get it done in that last game, and they did just that. As I have Nasty here with me on the main stage, talk me through those last couple of plays there in Skyhook. We tune into you guys. You have the top of the building, and you just start raining down hellfire. And we saw some amazing plays by Zane. What was going on in the comms?
I can't lie. It's pretty funny that it's Sky. So excuse my voice. I've been yelling. it's funny it's a Skyhook zone, and especially this one, because in Stockholm we were in loser bracket too, and we won this zone. And 6 months ago, I vowed to myself that I would never call this zone again because they have deleted it. I hadn't seen it like in a year now. And this time I took a gamble. I said it's gonna end here. I know it, and it did. And then we won.
And all the practice paying off right there, making that clutch decision for you and the team. How are you all feeling right now after having such a grueling day of competition and making it to the match point finals tomorrow?
As soon as we realized that we had enough points to make it, I stood up and screamed, "We are so mid." We have not been playing up to our standards today, but I'm sure tomorrow in the finals we will actually show what we're capable of. I have been disappointed in how we have been playing in terms of points, but not how we have actually been playing. Because I feel like we have been playing good, but we don't have the points to show it.
Yeah.
I'm sure in finals, we'll do good.
Yeah, you're going to get it done. Okay, I'm going to let you get up out of here, Nasky, but any last words you want to give to all your fans who stayed to watch you and everybody at home supporting you?
I want to shout out to Paige, who is the loudest fan we have. I want to give a shout out to my parents who's watching, and Mark, the CEO of KCP, who's here.
All right, that's going to do it for me and Nasky on the stage. Congratulations to the Pioneers. Glitter, take us away.
Listen, Nasky, I'm going to need you to go rest your voice so that you can celebrate tomorrow when you're doing well in those finals matches. But we're talking about individual players. Let's narrow it down, okay? We need to get into our Monster MVP. We had 3 separate series go on today. Sabs, tell me who you picked.
So yesterday I was talking about Oirain, and today it's gonna be Taskmaster from Firebeavers, one of the best players and fraggers on mouse and keyboard. You know, this person is putting so much time into practice, to practice his movement, to practice his aim in fire range. You know, you can't replace it.
You really
can't
can't.
replace this hour.
God.
He put in it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Firebeavers in general, a squad that we talk about all the time. Now in this elimination bracket too, able to clutch it up, continue their run through to finals. Like you said, Tiff, they were
Oh my God.
last split, unable to make it to land. Now they're here. We were wondering, what are they going to bring to the table? And it looks like they were able to squeak their way through.
Just ran up and butt fucked them.
Do in finals. I want to hear from you on your pick.
All right, well, it's going to be a fun one for me. I've got Tappy from Riddle Order. Riddle Order had such a strong performance here in the elimination bracket round 2, but before we get it, maybe, no, a little sneak peek just dropped. Glitter, we'll have to wait for you later because I've got Riddle to talk about. Tappy, let me just tell you, a strong M&K player, 46 kills throughout the regular split, 2 stats in APAC North, 11 alone just from the elimination bracket round 2, 4,800 damage, of boasting 2.2 KD, but so many clutch moments, especially right here on your screen. These are the moments where you just have to lock it in and clutch up that fight for your teammates, and you know when they took that victory, they had to take J-Ling's spot, they had to take KCP spots, they had to take FaZe, everything that happened in the spot that J-Lings had won from. It was perfect, and you heard their comms. So calm and collected. Of course, I couldn't understand anything that was going on, but I got the vibe. And I knew they were going to win.
All that matters is that they got it done. One of the most dominant squads in our Elimination 2 bracket when everything was all said and done. Just, you give a little sneak preview of my pick here before we jumped into it. I need to talk about Dropped from Optic Gaming. Obviously, the IGL for the squad, and Optic was something that we were looking at all weekend, being like, where's the performance we know that they can have? What is happening? They make it through into elimination bracket 1 star to pick it up. Give us what we're looking for there. They get a first place finish, 14 kills, second place finish, 12 kills, start to see that aggression. Then we move into elimination bracket 2, and that's when they really managed to clutch. I mean, Drop himself, over 8.4k damage. Wow. 18 kills, 22 assists, on top of having to be the IGL, directing it all. And we saw what happened. He went down early in that last match, still made sure the squad got to where they needed to get to with those points. So for me, it had to be Dropped. But phenomenal choices across the board. That was our Monster MVP. Now we need to just close out the show. There is a lot going into tomorrow, so I want to get some final thoughts.
Final thoughts, man. This was a really tough day. I'm not gonna lie. It's tough for the players. It's tough for the fans. It's tough for those at you at home that have your favorite teams that you're like, I cannot wait to see them make it. But when they have to go back knowing that they're not going to be available for Championship Sunday, you just have to start thinking forward. It's how can we improve for next time? Because it's always the question. Champs is that next LAN and playoff points. And if you're not gonna be able to qualify off that, it's last chance qualifiers.
Sabs, what about you?
You know, I think people gonna work on it to get to the champs. Next weekend we have LCQ. There's a lot of work. We have few days to work on it, but you know, it's worth. It's still 2 spots. It's
Anything can
worth
happen.
work on it. Yes.
Anything can happen.
I cannot wait. I think tomorrow is going to be an insane day, all right? And let's show you what we're talking about. First, we're going to show you the teams that have officially made their way through to our match point finals. This is the list. This is everybody we've got here, Tiff.
Wow, look at that. Alliance, Dark Zero, Fnatic, TSM. There's some heavy hitting.
NRG, sweet. We got TSM, How.
Really cool is Oxygen Esports, and something I love about that
Warhorse.
Vayne up there. Yeah, so remember Kangarna
Optic Gaming, FaZe.
NA Championships. His name's on the sign out there, and I think
FaZe and TSM is going to be interesting because Snipe Down, I think, is the IGL for FaZe now.
That matters, and that's 4 p.m. BST, because that's when it's going to start. So
And he left TSM.
Okay, get yourself set up, settled, comfortable, ready to go, and then settle in for some serious Apex Legends action. All right, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier. In case you forgot, we're going to mention it before we head out as well, because we've got some new stuff coming your way. So make sure that you head on over to the Apex Legends YouTube channel Monday, July 17th, okay? Apex Legends Kill Code, which is going to be following Lifeline, Maggie, and Loba, and all of their adventures in the Outlands. You gotta tune in for it. We always love a little bit of lore when it comes to the Apex Legends community. And we keep talking about Championship Sunday. Tomorrow is champs. It's our match point finals. Well, we've got a big announcement tomorrow as well, and it's going to happen during tomorrow's broadcast. So make sure that you tune in, because trust me, this is not something that you want to miss, all right? Now, the final place you can get all of our updates, social media, @PlayApex Esports. If you've missed any of our action over the last 3 days, all you have to do is head on over there, get yourself all caught up and ready to go for tomorrow, because other than that, that is it for us here at the Copper Box Arena. Obviously, a huge shout out to all of our teams that have competed here today for putting on an amazing show, and congratulations to our top 20 for making their way through to our match point finals. Like we said, all the actual kickoff at 4 p.m. BST, so make sure that you are there. And don't forget, there's $1 million on the line tomorrow, folks. Who will be the team that raises that trophy above their head? Well, we'll find out tomorrow.
Going to be starting off our matches over on Stormporton, the map that brings us chaos and deadly plays.
Oh, that movement. The foot came in. Yeah, I'll probably stream the championship tomorrow. And then I'll probably play a little bit tonight too. Probably be on in about an hour or two. That's gonna be the one to watch tomorrow. That's gonna be wild. That guy got mad and kicked a chair. Electronic Arts. I'm going to look at what time they start tomorrow, and then I'll make a post on Facebook. All right. Well, I'm going to hop off for a little bit, get me something to eat, and then I'll probably be on playing. Peace out. Thanks for hanging out. Later, Tab.